Millersville.
To the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Vegas. What a wild finish.
Your home for the NFL. San Antonio Sports Center.
The Spurs broke a 3-game losing streak, beating the Warriors late with a Harrison Barnes 3 to close the game, 114-111. Spurs have 2 games to go. Will play in Phoenix tomorrow night. Big news for the UTSA Roadrunner men's basketball program as transfer portal opened up and offered Austin Nunez and San Antonio's own former 4-star recruit coming from Arizona State and Wagner. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. How we doing? It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm your old pal AJ, joined as always by Mr. Rob Thompson. Good morning, Robert.
Morning. I'm hiding the inappropriate stuff.
Your
That's the- hold
drogas.
I don't want the
Oh, yeah, there you
suits
go.
to see the things that are on our table.
Oh, you don't have anything.
I
You
don't
don't
think
have any
anything
contraband.
illicit. No, but
Yeah.
you know they're.
Hide the mirror and the razor blade.
you
It'll
had-
be good.
well, no, I just there's an open top.
Oh yeah, get that out.
Oh yeah.
Shouldn't.
I don't think
exist.
you're allowed to have that either.
Yeah, that's probably not.
Yeah, that was
available.
on the list as well. If you
Yeah,
recall,
if I
that was
recall,
on the list.
the certain things not allowed in the
There-
building. But
There's a list.
There was.
specifically for me, I think. But,
There
but
was
good morning, all.
There were rules that hit. There were like a rule that was specifically aimed at me, and a rule that was specifically
Yeah.
aimed at Rob.
Yeah, we both had our specifics, and they had to act like it was for all of us. But we all knew.
Just so I'm the only one before the I was the only one who wore T-shirts to work.
Oh yeah. Well, I do, but I'm
And-
not on camera.
Wait,
Yeah.
right? And so the rule came down. All hosts when we get in this new studio, we want all our hosts to look professional. So everyone's got to wear a collared shirt.
Collared shirt, which was the AJ rule.
And then there
Okay.
was the also
No tobacco products.
no
at all.
tobacco products
in
can be
the
used in the studio.
And that could be applied to several of us, but it was aimed at me. We all knew in the meeting. We're like, oh, okay, that one's mine. I'll take that one.
I kept waiting for Jason and Joe to have
Well, then
rules,
there
and they
was
didn't.
no more hair products in the studio.
But they didn't make that rule.
Well, it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
private discussion. They didn't want to hurt the feelings of that one that already had
No
a hair
hair
product.
products.
No more makeup on the on the microphones. We all know who that was for.
No more
Minix.
lips, yeah.
It was Minix.
That's right.
And then for Minix it would be, can you wear something other than blue?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Or
There was also no more sitting on phone books. There was,
yeah. There's a lot of weird rules.
Bring your own footstool.
yeah. Yeah, but they let Jason still get away with it though. He's always
You gotta-
forever sitting on a phone book. Actually, no, he just cranks this chair up as high as it can go, and I have to crank it down every morning.
At least you're not in a chair war with Joe.
Oh, you guys, yeah,
Oh,
you guys
yeah,
move.
I'm always
We switch
swapping
chairs
them
out every day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What do you not like about his chair?
He keeps it too high. He's
But he
he's
can't
a stool
adjust?
sitter. But also, it's one of those stools that always leans kind of forward.
Okay.
And that seating position does nothing for my back.
Okay.
It's really more about it's an Arosty thing. I learned the
Gotcha.
kind of chair that I can sit in and have long-term mobility.
Well, turns out I'm not feeling my best.
I know what happened.
It's going around, man.
Wasn't feeling my best yesterday. I what turned out to be some serious body aches yesterday.
Did you have a fever?
That's the fevers.
I didn't get a fever, but I had the what do they call it? The sinus headaches, like the sinus pressure, and I was alternating between runny nose and stuffy nose.
Where you roll over and you can feel everything in your sinuses go from one
Drain.
side of the head to like,
Yeah.
yeah, I had that.
So I'm usually not good at admitting to myself that I'm sick or I'm getting sick. But yesterday I was like, you know what? Rob was sick.
And I swear I got it from our producer in there.
Probably. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get a bunch of medicine, and I went and got a bunch of medicine, and I'll be honest. That game winner that the Spurs hit last night.
No one saw it, dude.
I didn't see it.
No one in San Antonio saw the Spurs hit a game winner at 11:30 last night. No one saw it.
I went to bed at 8:20 last night, which is like a new record for me.
Well,
I know
did
that's
you go
like
to
your
bed
normal
or did you
bedtime.
pass out? There's a big difference.
Like I took a hot shower, I loaded up on medicine, I got in bed.
Okay, so you went to
like
bed.
I went to bed like ready to sleep, and I actually my first alarm that goes off at 3:30, I shut it off, and I woke up at 4 a.m. So I slept from 8:20 to 4 a.m., which I think is the most sleep I've gotten in one consecutive sitting on a weekday since I've started doing morning radio.
Well, on a weekday, yeah.
So it was it's fascinating.
I think Vic said that when he had it, it's you have zero energy. You just kind of lay around.
Yeah, but I
get up to do anything.
I feel a lot better today. Now I am also still loaded up on meds.
I think you got a couple days left.
Probably so.
Yeah,
and maybe I'm just on adrenaline right now, and I got some good sleep.
Well, you got some good sleep, and that's the best thing for it.
But I already feel better than I did yesterday, so that's a start. I can still feel like I'm not 100%, obviously, and I also feel like it's about 2,000 degrees in our studio. But other than that,
I haven't had 74.
I'm fighting a good fight today.
172.
Fighting, 72 will be the.
Well,
move.
we're all proud of you for fighting the good fight.
Fighting the good fight.
It's for the people.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm here for. I could have been like some and just missed days of work.
I don't give a damn
like
about
Vic
the
just
people.
didn't show up at work for a couple days. In fact, he told the boss like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be here tomorrow or the next day." That's how sick I am.
Hey, just because he's burning up, don't mean I need to freeze out. He's the one dealing with the sickness. I'm
you
healthy
got me
now.
sick.
No, let's point at the symptom over on the other side.
Okay, well, whatever the case
But,
is,
now,
then
my grandkid got me sick.
Now I got to suffer.
yes.
Well, you should have just stayed home. See?
No, that's
it's
not
the
how you
modern
do it.
mentality of don't bring your sickness to work.
Nah.
You soldier on.
No,
Soldier
see,
on.
It's that kind of.
Hey, I have sick days. I use them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what they're for.
Yes.
I don't. When I signed my contract, there were no sick days built in.
Oh,
They're like, no, you're not allowed to.
Well, they're not called sick days. They're called personal days now because we can't define things as sickness.
That's true.
It's just a day you get to take off.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm alive. I'm
Well,
I'm powering through, man. Powering through.
But literally, it's too bad that last night at 11:30, no one witnessed the shot.
Yeah.
It really is too bad because the highlight's pretty spectacular.
It is.
So Spurs are gonna close out with maybe a bang, not a whimper. 2 games left. One in Phoenix. Maybe they'll take them down, finish with a 3-game winning streak, vaulting them into a highly successful offseason that will include the acquisition of all-stars and improvement from skinny 7'4" dudes and all kinds of stuff.
I doubt it vaults them anywhere, but what it did do was it gave a big middle finger to Golden State because they actually needed that.
And for the guy that did it to do it was apropos and perfect. Thank you, Harrison.
And Steph Curry was kind of smiling about it,
dude, you screwed us.
But yeah, they're fighting for their playoff lives. Well, I mean, they'll be in the play-in no matter what, but like you obviously don't want to play that. So that knocked the Warriors from the 6 to the 7, which means they're below the line now.
Well, the permutations of the West, it's ridiculous. It is truly a Game of Thrones chess piece kind of thing because one move affects 4 other teams. There's teams that are in the play and that could end up in like 4th place by the end of the week. So
what yesterday did decide, though, was we know who the 20 teams are that have a shot in the postseason. With Phoenix being eliminated, that means that the 10 teams that have no playoff future are decided. They all have an E next to their name now, and now everybody's just jockeying for position, whether or not they're going to play a play-in game.
And the Lakers realized how to get Luka ready for every game. You're going to have to play a Mavericks tribute video, no matter where he plays.
Might be the move.
Like they're in the middle of Portland, introducing. Wait, we'd like to play before we introduce him. A 5-minute tear-jerking video to make him feel his worst.
right now.
And here it is. Lakers, what a showing last night.
Oh, boy. Why would you?
You knew that was coming.
Oh, my gosh.
I think you know why they did it. They did it for the fans.
I'd like to have seen Nico pregame, putting on his Kevlar vest.
He had to be like, we're not playing that, are we?
We're not really going to play this. Well, you have to do that. The Spurs have done it. You just do that. But
did they do it for Kawhi?
They kind of did.
Did they really?
Actually, yeah. They're professional. We didn't tear up at all.
Well, Kawhi has no emotion, so he was just staring the whole time, like
does not compute. But yeah, you play those kind of vids, but dude, to watch Luka turn into this jelly and then unleash the Kraken as the game got going, I'm serious. I'd take the video with me.
How do you think Anthony Davis feels? Do you think he
probably
feels
sore? But
do you think he feels like Mavericks fans dislike him?
Well, I would think the Anthony Davis of 10 years ago would have taken this very personal, would have really hated his life and position. But this
Anthony Davis of 10 years ago, this wouldn't have been a bad trade.
Oh, right, but I think the mentality that got Anthony out of New Orleans, would have really devastated him for him not to be loved and adored. I do think it, but now he's a merc. He knows he's a mercenary.
Yeah,
I'll show up and get paid, and I'll do great.
But I think Anthony Davis is a guy who's like, he's still one of the best players in the league. Like, we don't really talk about him as such, but when healthy, Anthony Davis is as good as anybody.
There you go.
Well, you could say the same thing about Luka.
Well, the perception of Anthony Davis is when healthy. And even though he has been healthy more than not over the last couple of years, there's still that lingering thing is, will Anthony Davis be there when I need him?
Well, isn't Luka in that same category?
The perception's different from Luka.
Because he's just younger?
Well, Luka took his team to the championship series and pretty much single-handedly. Davis hasn't done that.
Yeah.
So, they're not different in that as far as skill goes. They're in the same room. But I think the perception of Luka is a little bit higher.
Yeah. It certainly is. Especially when you factor in age.
And expectation and output. Anthony Davis has been a part of great teams, but he wasn't alone in carrying a great team when he had the chance, and Luka has.
So we'll discuss sort of the way the NBA is shaking out. We'll do a lot of that today. We'll start taking a look at some NFL draft stuff, some of the big questions surrounding the NFL draft. The Masters begins today. It's got to be when's the first hole tee off?
About now. It's 7:12 there. I think they're already off.
Are they really?
Yeah, I think the first off was like 6:40 in the morning.
Oh boy. Well, I guess we're underway then.
I think we are not far out.
Jeez, I wouldn't want to play that early in the morning. Give me a break. But yeah, so we'll keep you updated on that as well throughout the day. 6:40 Central is the first tee off. So
Central 6:40.
Yeah, 27 minutes away.
So 7:40 there.
From Patton Kazir and Davis Riley teeing off. Jonathan Villegas, Nikolai Hogard, Kevin Yu.
I'd want to be the first one off.
I don't want to play in the dark.
I know that. No, I don't want anybody watching me. I want to get out there and I want to do it. I want to be done by 10 o'clock. Go crack a beer and have a day.
That is kind of there is something to that.
I know I ain't going to make it past Friday.
There is something to that.
So let's have some fun today.
I certainly don't want to be in like the main group.
Oh no, I don't want to go off at like 1 o'clock.
Do you know who?
No.
There's a guy named Jose Luis Ballestar. He's an amateur from Spain. His pairing today, Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler. Like the thing about the cameras following you. You're an amateur from Spain,
and you're getting the cameras following.
Well, being the third in a group of three, I'm very accustomed to that. Being the worst guy in the pairing. So go off. Everybody's looking at them anyway. You have a day. You'll be coming out of the woods while they're standing in the fairway waiting. But you have yourself some fun, man. Slow up their game.
All right, we'll be right back. It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we are getting reports of a stall at 281 southbound at Bitters. Quickly moved it off to the shoulder. 35 southbound Olympia Parkway to 1604. That's ongoing road work. Roadway is reduced to one lane, so expect delays to start right around Schertz Parkway. If you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line so we can check it out. 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rocket. Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com, a single seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, even refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things home ownership. Rocket, own the dream.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. Call Connecticut today.
Karbach Brewing was not born in San Antonio, Texas, but they have certainly gone out of their way to make San Antonio their second home. We had the head brewer come in, and he said when they first started to reach outside of Houston, San Antonio was the place they wanted to be, and does it show. Karbach beer is all over our great city, from their in-your-face flagship IPA, Hopadillo, to the Ziegenbach, to their bestseller, the Love Street, their Kolsch-style blonde. There is something for everyone in Karbach's lineup, and it is all over the place. Of course, you're going to find it at the grocery stores. Of course, you're going to find it at the liquor stores, but it's also at a bunch of bars and restaurants around town. They wanted to make this their second home, and that's what it's become. So when you're out, you're watching the games at your local sports bar, your local restaurant, your local hangout, you're thinking, I want to elevate my beer game a little bit. Well, friend, wherever you're at, they probably have some Karbach either on tap or in cans. So when you're out and about doing your thing, go ahead and make sure to ask your bartender to please make it a Karbach.
If you've been injured in an accident, you know there's no shortage of attorneys who want your business. But when it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years. We've successfully represented thousands of injured Texans, earning over 12,000 five-star reviews on Google. So who is the right attorney for you? Just look at the numbers. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
And it's the second instance of a plane catching fire this week.
J.D. Ryan was a stewardess for Southwest for 5 minutes.
Flight attendant.
And he's an expert on everything aviation.
Now it's time for Plane Talk with Captain J.D. Ryan.
Thank you, Bob. Welcome aboard.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
This weekend, only at Macy's, it's our lowest prices of spring. How low? Diamond rings, pendants, and earrings, only $399, originally $1,500. Ninja blenders, now $89.99. And $395 men's designer suits, only $99.99. So if you're wondering why you should shop Macy's lowest prices sale, well, the name pretty much says it all. It's our lowest prices for one weekend only. Going on now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Missions fans, get ready for AARP $2 Tuesdays at Wolf Stadium, presented by San Antonio Sports Star. Enjoy $2 tickets, beer, hot dogs, and more. This Tuesday, first pitch at 7:05 p.m. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at samissions.com.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is the first round of the Masters Tournament, the greatest golf tournament there is. I hope none of those livers are on top.
Good Lord. 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. What's the latest we're hearing from Dallas and Houston?
Speaking of Dallas, big game and Big D last night. We'll talk about that.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're locked on The Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Restless breakfast table in an otherwise empty room. Young girl, violin. Oh. This is when you could still understand what Eddie Vedder was saying.
I was going to say, yeah.
And then he got into the...
All right. That's enough. All right. That's all I can do, man.
No more Pearl Jam today,
that's enough, man. Sound like you had bad pot roast last night.
We get a big shot from Harrison Barnes, gives the Spurs a last-second buzzer-beater win over the Golden State Warriors last night.
And we all missed it.
Missed it.
Does it matter? Does it count? A tree falls in the woods and no one hears
Gilbert
it?
said he was watching.
Oh, good for Gilbert.
Ren was watching. There's a couple guys who saw it. I certainly didn't.
What the hell are you doing up then?
I don't know. I was
what are you,
done.
vampires?
I was out of it. I was all drugged up last night. I had to go to bed. But this is I've been saying this. I think now it's almost a must, because the assumption is, right, we all assume that Chris Paul won't be back next year. And if he is back, he'll be back in a much lesser role.
Absolutely.
Whereas Harrison Barnes, who is under contract for next year, I want him to be here next year, and I want him in the starting rotation next year. Like, I think he's been very solid for them all year long. And there is something, too, on a team full of guys who have never won anything, to have a guy who is a winner.
And Pop has always done that. The Pop administration, there's always been a good mix of former playoff players, stars on their way down, guys that might not be ready for the court but present an ethic and a mentality that, models what you want. That wouldn't shock. The only problem is, while Harrison is everything you described, that makes him imminently tradable. That makes him very much the most exciting piece that the Spurs could offer, other than maybe Devin Vassell, if you're looking for something to either add value or to eliminate salary cap. Those are the two dudes. Now, Harrison is a great bargain on top of all of this.
Yeah.
And he's underpaid for what he offers. He played in every game, didn't get hurt, and then you add in the locker room stuff. It's brilliant. But
particularly if Chris Paul isn't here next year.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm very worried that he has played above expectation, which makes his value above expectation. And as this market comes, and deals are going to be offered, and we're going to be chasing, because there's draft picks that the Spurs have in the bank account, and there's all this stuff. When it starts talking players, Harrison will be the first guy brought up.
Okay, but next year is year 3 of Wemby. The expectation next year is playoffs, right? Like, there's no anything short of the playoffs is a disappointment next year. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Well, I think if all things had been on track, Pop finished the year, Wemby wasn't hurt, we weren't, yes, that would be a true statement. We lost Wemby for half the season, and we're adding a new coach. So I'm not sure what the timeline is. It might be delayed. I would expect it's still the same. So, yes, I would say I expect play-in. I mean, I expect playoff. I expect a 6, 7, 8 seed next year. I think that's legitimate. And I think to do that, you're going to need the likes of a Harrison Barnes to do it. But
I'm
if
not
you're,
going to
if
grow
you're planning
too
on making
attached.
the playoffs, you don't trade away a key veteran.
Well, I'm just not going to grow too attached is all I'm going
right.
to say, because there's still work to be done, and he is a value well beyond the next 2 years. That position might play a role 3 years from now, 4 years from now, developmental, where we know he's imminent to be gone in a couple years. I mean, there's other things at play, but as far as the guy, he is the best thing that this administration has done short of Chris Paul. I mean, to go get a Harrison Barnes the way that he did and the way that he has performed this year was as good a free agent pickup as the Spurs have offered. Dollar value for dollar value. We knew what Chris Paul was going to be. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But to bring in Barnes, the way that he's played and the way that he has fit into the fabric of the team and the city, it's as good a get as they've ever got.
Well, for Chris, to me, Chris's value was always more, in the practice room and in the locker room. But
it turned out he started. I mean, he came here to start.
But he hasn't been a great player for the Spurs.
Well, he's been a significant upgrade, AJ. I mean, he is an upgrade.
But Barnes has been a better player this year than Chris Paul.
I think he's performed above expectation. I think Chris Paul's value is just about immeasurable. I mean, he's considering the fact that the second half of the season he was more of a coach than he had even before the first half. So the value is equal, although Chris for dollar spent. But Chris Paul mattered. I mean, without him, I can't even imagine what this season would have been like. I mean, it would have been an utter catastrophic. It'd have been the worst thing we'd ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I want Harrison Barnes back next year. I think he'll be a key part of this thing when they become a playoff team. He's the only guy on this roster who's won. Like, there is something to having a champion on your roster. I value that, and I would imagine the Spurs they know the value of that as much as anyone.
Yeah, and so does the rest of the league.
Yeah.
So if I'm calling about anything, Harrison is part of the deal.
All right. When we come back, we'll take a look at what the results of last night did to the playoff standings. As we get to, there's like 3 or 4 games left for everybody. Everybody's running out of games. We'll talk about that next. Morning Huddle 94.1.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we are getting reports of a stall at 281 southbound at Bitters. Quickly moved it off to the shoulder. 35 southbound Olympia Parkway to 1604. That's ongoing road work. Roadway is reduced to 1 lane, so expect delays to start right around Schertz Parkway. If you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line so we can check it out. 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by True Green.
We're back in the miller's yard, who now use True Green.
Their lawn started looking like a fairway, and pro golfers started showing up.
They love playing this lawn.
Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Orchard puts cash right into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com or call 1-844-421-SELL. That's 1-844-421-SELL. 1-844-421-SELL.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text KING to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text KING to 321-321. That's KING to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys & Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I was pretty hungry and looking at a menu when I named my boat Change Your Tuna. The backup names were Trick or Trout, I Salmonly Swear, and, oh, it gets worse, New Squid on the Block. It wasn't my best day.
Whatever you call your boat, protect it. And start with a quote from Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
George gets justice. In an instant, a careless driver turns your life upside down. You're hurt, the bills pile up, and work stops. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, your consultation is free. No fees, no pressure, just real help. Justice starts with one call. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
This is Jason Minix from The Blitz. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right, Morning Huddle 94.1. This is more Rob's tempo than...
You ain't jamming to Bee Gees? I heard a Bee Gees song on the way in this morning. I told you.
I'm not surprised.
Dude. So I heard, it wasn't this one. It was one of the Saturday Night Fever songs. They all kind of run together, but it was one of those. So I was like, hey, Alexa, play the best of. So I
Of the Bee Gees?
Of the Bee Gees on the way in.
Oh.
Dude, you cannot be in a bad mood.
This is what you heard in the parking lot.
This is what I heard coming in. I don't know how a grown man can sing like that.
I don't either.
I heard Justin Timberlake describe it perfectly. He sounds like a trumpet.
Yeah.
He's a trumpet.
Yeah.
His octave's pretty high.
Dude, it's ridiculous. And every guy in the world in the car, if you appreciate the Bee Gees, if you do, tries to sing like that.
Do you try to sing like that?
I can sing higher. I can sing so high a dog can hear it.
Let's hear you do this song.
I was just now. So you like it?
No. I don't like the Bee Gees at all.
Well, I didn't expect you to.
I don't understand how that was a thing.
It led to sex.
Yeah.
Yes.
And collars, shirt collars, and high heel shoes for men.
I mean, the disco scene never died. It just left the United States, but it's still around.
Well, I never really understood why it was a thing.
Because it led to sex.
Yeah, you know what, Rob? There's lots of things that lead to sex.
Right, and it was one of them.
There's way more
no, there's not
way more fun
there's
things.
Well, there's very different
that lead
things.
to sex.
There's different things. I wouldn't say more fun.
Yeah.
Well, to you,
booze leads to sex,
and it also leads to dancing. That's why Baptists do neither.
Oh, all right.
I can speak
on
from
that
experience.
note.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Luka last night in Dallas. We got some sound from Luka. Here's Luka talking about the emotions he was feeling before the game last night.
Well, it was a little bit of both, happy and angry, but it's nice to see
Mars.
Some familiar faces here. I spent a lot of times with them. But like you said, it was a lot of emotions. When I woke up, I was tired. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't sleep much. I was excited about this game, and I really appreciate the fans, the way they reacted to me.
I decided to crush their skulls.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about how does Nico Harrison
I swear he had body armor on yesterday.
What is there? This is you can never recover from this.
No, there's no coming back. I think you think it's going to be bad. They knew what they were doing was going to, alter the sports universe, and in Dallas even more so. They had an idea. I don't think they thought that a month and a half later, there'd be a dude standing outside the building handing out free clown noses to everybody that walked in. I don't think they had any idea the firestorm that, this went beyond sports. This was them trading away little boys' heroes. I mean, there's 5-year-olds across Dallas with 77 jerseys. They don't know what to do with. I mean, this is part of the fabric of this city.
It's wild, man.
It's not since Dirk or Roger or Troy. Can you imagine if at the height of Troy Aikman's career they traded him?
No.
I mean, and Troy was different than Emmett and different than Michael. Troy was Troy, baby. And it was, he went along with Dirk as a child to every mother in Dallas, and Luka was the next. No one expected this. And you're right. No one comes back from this.
Then they asked him if he felt like this was a closure moment. Does he feel like now he can turn the page on this chapter?
It's a hard question. I mean, for sure it's a little bit more talking about closure. Sometimes hard because, like I said, I spend a lot of time here, great moments. But it's, like I say, it's getting more and more, and I got to focus on different things now.
What do you think?
I think it's going to – I think it's going to no, it's not closure, because my guess is next time he comes to town, it's going to be a similar reaction. They won't play the tribute video again, but it'll be a similar reaction from the fans and
from him.
And from him, yeah.
You will forever get his best game.
As I was sitting there watching him on the bench with, tears in his eyes, Luka was he thought as much as everyone else thought that he was there for good.
And that was his plan. I mean, he was going to take less money.
He was never going to leave.
No, because he wanted to be Dirk. He saw what Dirk was and emulated all of it. I mean, and then to have that yanked from him, we get jaded about things, but there's a reason why players can be utter jerks, because this kind of crap happens to them.
Here's LeBron James talking about being a part of Luka's return.
Super happy to be a part of that moment. Obviously, you saw the emotions on Luka's face. It was great. That was an unbelievable moment, something I probably will never forget, to be a part of that moment. And, the kid had 7 amazing seasons here. I mean, he was from a kid to, a man, and, for all those moments, just, it's all come together today, and just, it's pretty cool.
I would imagine Mavericks fans never expected to be cheering for a team that LeBron James was a part of. Yet here we are.
You know, LeBron said something kind of funny. I've always considered Luka more of a man than a boy. You know,
but you got to remember, what was he, 19 when he came to the league, or 20?
When he got here, but he just seemed like a grown-ass man from the moment like Dirk, the first time we saw Dirk, he looked like a skinny kid, and he grew into it. Luka kind of arrived as a man, and you don't really think of him as, yes, he was as young as Wemby.
Yeah. They asked Jason Kidd. First, they asked him about the tribute video.
It was incredible. It was the fans were great. The tribute was great. Luka's performance was great. It was great. You know, that's who Luka is. I've said that as
you got your ass
when
kicked.
he was with the Mavs. He's one of the best players in the world, and he displayed that again tonight.
That's a dude that can see the finish line.
Oh God,
I will be in the Bahamas in 1 week.
Poor Jason Kidd. He had this is none of his doing.
Although I still don't believe him. I didn't know. They just sprung it on him.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't believe him.
Okay. Then they asked Jason Kidd, does this game make you regret the organization trading? Like, basically asking him, like, what does this make you wish that?
This is one of those, be very careful with your answer.
That dude, you know, he's like, oh, please don't ask me that. Please don't ask me that.
No, I have a job to do, and that's to coach the players that are in that locker room. We've gone through the groceries, right? So the guys in that locker room, I got to put them in a better position to win, and I just didn't do that tonight. We're getting healthy. We're getting off a minute restriction, and so we have 2 games left to get things going in the right direction before we play Sacramento. And so that's all we're worried about. Understanding all the emotions and all the attention on this game. This game is over. There's nothing we can do. He's not coming back as a Mav. He's with the Lakers, and so we have to move forward, and that's what we've done.
Let me tell you something. If they get healthy enough to beat Sacramento, and Sacramento is no world beater, it will be Kidd's greatest coaching achievement.
Yeah.
If he can put this thing together and win a playoff series without Kyrie, and only having Anthony Davis for, 5 games, and can still get them ready and prepared to play in a playoff series, Kidd's gone up to next-level coach in my book.
Casey said Nico reminds him of that. I think he means the Easterby guy that the Texans had to fire. I think you're right, and, like, there may be no peace amongst Mavericks fans until then, because that's how it was with the Texans. The Texans basically lost their fan base for a couple of years, and I don't know if you guys remember, but there was always you couldn't get season tickets to the Texans. There was a long waiting list to get
winning
season
didn't
tickets.
Matter. It was
and even when they stunk, it was still hard to get in that place. When this Easterby thing went down, it was a mix of Bill O'Brien GM into Jack Easterby, and there was about a 3-year window where the Texans ruined all goodwill with their fan base, and it could not be corrected until Jack Easterby was gone.
And Easterby was that weird.
He's like a preacher. He was like the team chaplain,
and he ran out some dudes
have in charge of the team, basically.
Remember what was his name? Jamie. He worked with the on the business side of the Texans. He ran him out. The guy that was really kind of the brains behind the entire operation ran that dude out. Yeah, it was a mess. I'm not sure if Nico is a patsy or an architect. My sense is he's a patsy. I think that there was more in play than Nico. This is kind of above your pay grade.
But if that's the case, then who's pulling strings?
Well, I think it's the Adelsons, and I do believe to some extent the conspiracy theory that the Adelsons are doing everything they can to get the Mavericks to Vegas. I think at the end of the day, they were trying to ruin goodwill in Dallas, anger everyone, dismantle for the sake of billions in Vegas money. That's
crazy.
I know it's crazy, and I know there's lots of lines, but you can't make sense out of nonsense. And you don't. What they did will never in my lifetime happen again, because anybody who sees what they did realizes you just dismantle. And even if you win a playoff series, it will. The stink on this franchise is going to remain. They're not going to add one new season ticket sale, one extra, one plus for 5 years.
Vegas is a good market to be in. You don't leave Dallas for Vegas.
Well,
you don't
the Adelsons are there. Why would you buy into the Mavericks when you don't need to? They didn't need to buy into the Mavericks. They already own the Golden Goose. So they bought into the Mavericks knowing full well that an NBA team was coming. And they own the hotel and they own half the city. I just draw the parallels and think, why on earth would you do this?
I don't get it.
Is Nico a patsy or an architect? If he's an architect, he probably should be wearing body armor. And if he's a patsy, I hope he's well paid.
All right, we'll wrap up the first hour of the show on the other side. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
A lot of people argue that the best breed of dog is a lineage called the Rescue. They're right. That's why we're asking San Antonio Sports Star listeners to help no-kill rescue agencies around San Antonio with food that these pups need. They're all good dogs. They just need a chance. The voice of the National Dog Show, John O'Hurley, will join the Sports Star guys all day Friday, April 11th for the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry, the Institute for Functional Health, Big State Financial, G2 Shoes, Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, Ponderosa Ranch, Mr. W Fireworks, and Fifi and Fido's Pet Boutique. So lend a helping paw during the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, Friday, April 11th, with 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hola, mi esposo se lastimó en un accidente ayer. ¿Me puede ayudar?
Claro que sí. Estamos aquí para servirle.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7. Our team of Texas attorneys has been helping people injured in car, truck, or 18-wheeler wrecks for more than 25 years. And there's no fee unless we win. Y hablamos español. If you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Claymore says, watching Luka cry last night, gutted him as a fan. He's been trying to get over the trade. Last night made it feel like he just got traded. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it felt that way, didn't it? That was raw. It was raw. That was rough.
That's why I say I can't imagine that Nico wanted that video to get played, because all it does is reset. It resets the timeline. There were people kind of getting over it, and then
they just ripped off the Band-Aid, and there's the wound again.
Yeah. It's never going to heal. It's never.
No.
Never. You know, there's no equation to this. I can't find in my modern sports life anything that even remotely I remember Emmett in a Cardinals uniform, but he was a shadow of himself. You know, it wasn't real. And he left on his own accord.
It was when, now you're right. Now this was a left on his own accord thing, but when Nolan Ryan went to Arlington,
that was so weird. That was surreal.
Astros fans were like, "What?" Now, mind you, that was a time when The Astros were in the National League, and it wasn't like
as
they didn't play against each other, but it was still there was a big hole in the hearts of Astros fans.
It was, to me, I just remember thinking, it's just weird. Thank God we don't have to play him.
Yeah.
But it was of his own accord. So I think there were some Astros that were a little mad at him.
Yeah, I can't think of a good comp really, like where it's
to have to sit there and watch the dude that took you to the finals last year that you just shipped out of nowhere, and you're less than a year later sitting 3 games to go in the season playing a tribute video to him, and he's wearing a Laker, of all the jerseys, he's wearing a Laker jersey on top of it. I can't imagine the heartbreak. I can't even draw an equivalent.
Maybe, okay, do you remember when, now there was a team in between, but when Roger Clemens was pitching for the Yankees and knocked the Red Sox out of the playoffs on his way to winning a World Series.
No, that's cool.
That's kind of a...
well, thank God I'm not on either side of that fence.
I
But
would imagine that hurt. But yeah, there's just not... I mean, like now Shohei Ohtani's across town, but the Angels they stunk anyway. I don't know how mad they can
I
be.
think Angels are kind of fare thee well.
Yeah.
Go with God. Good luck to you.
Yeah, it's difficult to come up with a comp because guys like that just don't get moved very often.
Yeah, surprisingly moved to wake up thinking all is well, and by the end of the day you're on a brand new team with another. It's almost unfathomable, and I think it has gone so poorly. I can't imagine a scenario where it would happen again, where you look at it and go, everybody had even if they did have the best intentions, and I still don't understand them. You go, I just can't do this because if you're a business owner, I'm really curious to follow what the season ticket traffic line is. Like, I know it's going to drop, and I want to see at what point will they ever get back to the level they were at the day they traded, and follow the money, see where the money is, because that's where the true decisions are made. Where is the money going, and how did it affect them financially? Now they might still have a bottom line and sell every ticket, but that guaranteed flow of season ticket money is gone for I don't know how long until you find some reason to replace. And it would take. What do you think? I mean, you're not going to get another Luka like. You're going to have to win lots of games and get yourself deep into the playoffs and establish some kind of new relationship with your fans.
And they feel so far away from doing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a valiant effort. And for, this year and next, it might actually kind of work. But eventually Anthony Davis is going to be gone.
Right.
And those draft picks are going to take time to grow. And before you know it's a decade.
Let's give away a pair of tickets to go see Whitechapel April 16th at the Aztec Theater. Hymns and Dissonance Tour. Let's go with caller number 5. You want to go see Whitechapel at the Aztec Theater. That is on April 16th. That is next, Wednesday?
By my math, yes.
That works out? All right. Next Wednesday at the Aztec Theater. You want to go rock out, friends. And if you don't win, what caller did I say, Vic? Did I just say a caller? Did I say 3?
I think you said 3.
Caller 3, okay. And if you don't win, of course, you can buy tickets at livenation.com. Robert says LeBron leaving Cleveland the first time.
He did it on his own.
Yeah, and I like but that's the thing. The fans weren't mad. Like they were mad. They weren't mad at the organization. They were mad at LeBron for choosing to leave.
This was not. Yeah, exactly.
Like, but when I brought up the Astros fans were mad at the Astros for not paying Nolan Ryan. Like they thought, if Nolan Ryan wants to get $1 million a year, give him $1 million a year. And the Astros were like, that's crazy.
So, and the good news was Astro fan just looked north. All right, we'll just watch them up there.
Yeah, that's literally what me and my dad did.
Right.
My dad was like, all right, well, I don't have Astros season tickets anymore.
And I can get to Arlington just about as easy as Houston.
$59 Southwest flights. So, it is just hard to come up with a comp, man. It is hard to come up with a comp, but it's got to feel good for Luka to know that he's loved in both cities.
Absolutely adored. And you get the sense that he will never leave Dallas, that he'll keep a home there, that, that was his plan, and he'll keep part of that going. Maybe.
I mean, he said, I love this city. He's like, he loves Dallas.
And to know that I got to face this cat 3 times,
which is wild. He must live in Fort Worth or something. He can't possibly love Dallas. He's got to live somewhere else. That can't be.
What's that? South Lake? You think he's probably there?
So anywhere. It can't be Dallas city limits. That's impossible. All right. 1 hour in the books. I've been saying we got to look at I've tried to get around the NBA to the playoffs, but we keep getting caught up on each little individual story. But we'll take a look at the grand scheme of things coming up next. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding the work with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. It's the Morning Huddle, KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. The new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program makes it easier than ever for members to save and get more. Join for free today. Lowe's, they help, you save. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms subject to change.
Texas coastal waterfront properties starting at only $49.9?
That's right. Driftwood Acres at Wolf Point, located on the highly sought-after Matagorda Bay, is extending their grand opening for 1 day this Saturday. Book your private tour to see 1 to 3 acre properties, all with bay access, starting at just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. This gated waterfront community features panoramic views, world-class fishing, resort-style pool and cabana, community fishing pier, boat and RV storage, and so much more. It's happening Saturday, April 12th, 1 day only. Coastal waterfront properties starting at an unbelievable $49.9. Just $49.9. Call to book your private tour or for information for this Saturday. 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Appointments are limited, so call now. 210-853-0389. Texas waterfront properties will never be more affordable. 210-853-0389.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
My wife, she's 13 years my junior.
Yeah. Never mind.
I mean, that's kind of creepy when you put it like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when everybody's adults, 10-year gap's no big deal.
No.
But when you push it back down.
That's funny. Hey, sweetie, remember this? No, I was 2.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo. Guys over 40, tired of feeling tired? Testosterone therapy by Synergenics is the answer. This April, the consultation is free. Treatment covered by most major insurance. Don't wait for online meds. Walk into their clinic, see a provider, feel great today. Book now at fixmylowt.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. you can with Orchard. Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Orchard puts cash right into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Start with your free home valuation at orchard.com or call 1-844-421-SELL. That's 1-844-421-SELL. 1-844-421-SELL.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like a new trouble spot on 1604 eastbound Nacogdoches. Disabled vehicle that's now off to the shoulder. On 90 eastbound 211 over to 410. That's starting to fill in and slow down a little bit. On 37 northbound Southton to South Cross, far southeast side of town, that's starting to fill in and slow down. And a stall at I-10 westbound Callahan off to the shoulder. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Spurs broke a 3-game losing streak, beating the Warriors late with a Harrison Barnes 3 to close the game, 114-111. Spurs have 2 games to go. Will play in Phoenix tomorrow night. Big news for the UTSA Roadrunner men's basketball program as transfer portal opened up and offered Austin Nunez and San Antonio's own former 4-star recruit coming from Arizona State and Wagner. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
7:01 on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The National Basketball Association, we've got our teams finalized for the playoffs. Now, we don't know exactly who's playing who just yet, but we know who's in, who's out. And
I always find it funny when teams lock it in on a loss.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
We lost, but good news.
Yeah, the Rockets locked into the 2 seed. They lost last night. Lakers, with that win, they locked in, I believe. No, they're not locked into the 3 seed. But they're now.
They have most of the tiebreakers.
They're guaranteed they don't have to be in the play-in.
Right.
So, because you're right, because they do have some tiebreakers. There's only 2 games left. They're 2 games up on the Warriors. Minnesota looks like they're going to be stuck in the play-in. It's going to be tough for them to get out of that. And now it's like the Warriors, Grizzlies, and Clippers seem to be in I guess the Nuggets, if the Nuggets were to lose 2 in a row, are all in that battle for the last 2 playoff spots. Clippers feel safe to me. They've won 6 in a row. They don't feel like they're losing anytime soon.
No, they're on fire. And 2 of those teams have brand new coaches, so it's kind of a strange scenario to be in.
Really is. Mavericks and Kings, we know, are locked into the play-in games. It's just a matter of who they're going to go up against in that format. So in the Eastern Conference, it's a little more simple because the Heat, Bulls, and Hawks are all locked into play-ins. I believe the Magic are too. And then you get but actually I don't know if that because the Magic won their division. Can they be in the play-in if they win their division?
It's not like the NFL.
Okay, so you can
I
still
don't
be
think,
in the play-in game?
Just your record. You don't get anything special for winning the Eastern or Southeastern Division, I don't think.
Man. Okay,
I mean,
you might. You're probably right.
It's just your. Yeah, you get a. If you decide to, if you lose everything, you can hang a banner. You know, if you don't win the title, you can go ahead and hang a banner saying you won your division. But like the Spurs did for years.
By the way, what a crummy division. The Magic, the Southeast Division is Magic, Hawks, Heat, Hornets, Wizards. The Magic they won their division. They're 40-40.
It's I think the divisions are made up just to make up for the scheduling of 82
okay,
games.
I just didn't know.
You play your division 4 times instead of 3.
Okay, I just didn't know if you could win your division and still have to play in the play-in round.
No, I think you could. Yeah, I think it's about your record more.
Okay,
your division winners doesn't matter.
Then if that's the case, then yeah, the Magic and Hawks, or Magic.
Do you agree with it? I think once you get to the playoffs, I don't like division. I think it should be record at that point.
I guess I kind of do too, but when there's because it is an unbalanced schedule,
and you are playing those in your division more, so those wins should maybe count for more, maybe. So I guess I get it. Maybe you should earn a little bit more for winning it, but at the end of the day, we just want the best teams playing for a championship. I don't care how you get there, other than all the best teams need to be in a position to play for a title.
Yeah. I can't feel bad for you if you win your division and you're barely 500 anyway.
Yeah.
But so that means Cavs, Celtics, Knicks, Pacers, Bucks, Pistons locked in to playoff spots, and the other two will be determined between Magic, Hawks, Bulls, and Heat.
And we know who's there. And of this group, of these 16 teams that are going, 20.
20 right now, yeah.
Which team that made the playoffs is the biggest disappointment? Now, some teams are hamstrung by injuries, and I'll give them a little bit of credit for that. But when you looked at the beginning of the season, and we look at the teams that are going in, and I think for the most part, the teams that we thought that are going to the playoffs there's not a team that's not in that I thought was going to make
Phoenix.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you Phoenix, but I also include in there the injuries
and Philly,
and injuries matter.
Yeah,
so I'll give Philly more of a pass than Phoenix, but they both get a pass. What's the most disappointing team going in where you go, man, I just expected more?
Dallas.
And some of that's the move. So, that was self-inflicted. But
and Minnesota.
Minnesota would certainly, to my mind, I had two teams that I expected so much more from. The Timberwolves in the West and the Pacers in the East. Those are the two teams that I just thought, I didn't expect title runs.
I mean, the Pacers are going to have a home playoff series.
And Minnesota's beaten some good teams, too. I'm not saying they've been utter disappointments, but I did expect progress from both, and I didn't see that over the season. Halliburton is a forgotten entity. I remember how hot Halliburton was last year, and he went and played in the summer and played just enough for us to remember him. But once the season began, who? I mean, I haven't heard her, and now some of it's injuries, but this is a team that just didn't pan out for me.
Yeah, you were into the Pacers a lot coming into the season.
And the Timberwolves, too. I thought they would be right at the top of this thing, fighting for, every bit.
Well, remember last year, we were all like, whoa, Timberwolves, they're on the come. And,
yes.
Maybe playing in the off-season hoop wasn't the best thing for Anthony Edwards.
And Halliburton both. You know what? I hadn't considered it. Edwards doing that too, but maybe there was something to that.
And especially for Edwards because he was looked at as like the guy on that team. He was like, this is the next huge star in the NBA, and that's a lot of pressure to carry in and to carry it through the offseason and then try and do it this year. Yeah, Minnesota, if you had told me Minnesota would be in a play-in game, I'd be like, man, that would be a big disappointment.
Yeah, who got hurt
last season?
Yeah, who got hurt? What happened? And it was just things didn't align.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess that's who, if I were to say the biggest disappointments, that's who outside of Phoenix and Philly.
Mm-hmm.
But Philly, I mean,
you lose your 8 starters and all.
What are you going to
do? There's enough reasons and excuses out there. Well, I'm going to dismiss the season, although nobody involved with this should be proud of what's going on.
No,
you know what I mean. Everybody should have to pay a price.
It's starting to it's starting to peel back more of a organizational problem than just like, oh, our best player got hurt. It's more than that is going on in Philly.
And I think we could say the same thing for Phoenix. I mean, injuries are part of it, but there's this whole organization.
That's organizationally a disaster. Who's the team you're most impressed with, like that you kind of maybe didn't see coming?
Well, Golden State. I hate to say it. I really do. And the Clippers. I mean, the Golden State and the Clippers, it's the usual suspects, but oh my goodness, they're back and they're playing enough. Last night, being discounted with a last-second shot, but I wouldn't have thought.
I thought the Clippers were going to be I thought they were going to be like a borderline playoff team.
Yeah,
they've impressed me.
There's a lot of savvy vets, and you don't want to. But I certainly didn't expect them to close the season on like a 10-game winning streak and being a team that you just didn't want to face in the first round. I didn't see that coming.
And how much of it is Kawhi stayed healthy?
I think a lot of it has to do with that. I mean,
it's kind of the opposite of Philly. Like the guys who always get hurt got hurt, and you see it's a disaster. This time, the guy who always gets hurt in L.A. stayed healthy.
And the other team that I think should rank this season as an unquantified success, and the numbers aren't going to show it, is the Orlando Magic. This team probably shouldn't even be in the playoffs. If you think about how much time they had without either Wagner and how much time Banchero was hurt, they lost a third of the season just in man hours alone.
Yeah,
and they're still there. They're better than they were last year.
It's also very difficult to miss the playoffs in the East.
Agreed. No, you're right. But I think when you're looking at teams that are on the come, that they did improve. They know who they are. They've got a coach they like. They've got players in place. And they're in the playoffs. Now, you have to do your incremental growth. They need to be they might not necessarily win their playoff series, but you better win a couple of games. And one of them better be a good one in front of your fans. But if they do it, I think they'll count this year as a success.
Here's a couple teams I think probably deserve some credit for being way more than anybody thought they were going to be. One is Houston. I mean, Houston's going to be the 2 seed in the West.
They're ahead of schedule. They are.
I mean, this is.
But we all knew they were a playoff team. I just didn't see a second seed.
Yeah, that's surprising to me. And I think the idea of San Antonio following the trajectory of the Thunder is nice in theory. I'd take them following the trajectory of the Rockets. Like if they were to I don't expect the Spurs to be the best team in the league in 2 years. Particularly like maybe one of the best teams of all time is what the Thunder look like. So,
but the Thunder, this has been a 5-year build, man. This hasn't been a minute in coming. The Houston turned up the volume fast. I mean, they made some veteran moves. They improved a lot quicker than letting guys age appropriately. They went and got dudes. So I'd like to see the Spurs land somewhere in between.
The other team, maybe the most impressive, is Detroit. To go from the worst team in the league last year to like a locked-in playoff team, and they seem kind of dangerous.
Well, the thing about Detroit is you feel sorry for them because of how bad they've been until you see them play, and everybody coming off the bench is a first-round draft pick. I mean, they've got more talent, unrealized talent, than any team in the league. But one dude after another is a lottery pick, so they're stock full of talent. I think that they're also a recipient of playing in the East. I think they benefited from that. But they've aged up. They're a good team.
Yeah. I mean, it's just to be the worst team in the league and then to make the playoffs the next year is, to me, that's impressive.
Yeah. I'm not going to – they're another team that I think you look at and go.
It's not like they drafted somebody this last year that's like a rookie of the year type home run.
And
their guys are just blossoming all at kind of the same time.
Well, keep in mind, their coming star got hurt. What's the Purdue kid? Blew his knee early on. The guy that was on the come. Ivy?
No.
Forget his name. But their young stud got hurt. Jalen Duren has aged into a absolutely stunning center in the NBA. And Cade is legit one of the top 10 players in the league by now.
Yeah. I mean,
so, no surprise when you see them,
Brian says we could have had Houston's head coach. Pop needs to make a decision to retire.
Who? I'm sorry.
He's talking. He's saying we could have had Houston's head coach in San Antonio. Pop needs to make the decision to retire.
Well,
yeah, I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like we didn't know at that time that Pop was going to be where he is right now.
And Ime is he's a coach that is only appropriate to certain teams.
I agree with that.
And I'm not saying the Spurs aren't that kind of team, but there's a lot of teams that Ime can't coach.
Yeah. And I don't know if Wemby is
I think he would take to Ime quite well. I think Wemby, Euro guys appreciate hard coaches because that's what they come up with. I think that he would be fine with that. But every team that Ime's landed on, that first 6 months has been kind of a nightmare. Remember, Tatum and Brown were ready to, to rebel. They were going to have a coup. They wanted him fired. And Houston was the same way last year. They didn't like him because he's tough on young guys.
Yeah, got to play defense, Bubba.
The proof is in the pudding. The guy wins.
You were right. Jaden Ivey is the guy.
That blew his knee, and that guy was one of their studs on the comp. So Detroit's going to be even better next year.
But Ron Holland was the guy they drafted this year, and he hasn't really – I mean,
he's played.
He's slowly developing.
He's got a good left hook.
Yeah, but it's not like he was an instant star, so – a lot of it is just the growth of Cade, the growth of Jalen Duren.
It's going to be fun to watch them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it really will be.
Decent little squad. All right, let's switch off of the NBA for a little bit. We'll get into some NFL draft stuff. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A Rosti is an interesting term. People ask me all the time, a Rosti, I don't get it. What is it? I hear you talking about it's all natural. I hear non-invasive. What exactly does that mean, and how is it going to fix the problem that I've been dealing with for years? Well, it's interesting because Arasti's, in my mind, a mix of a lot of different things. I've been to chiropractors that felt a little bit like chiropractic work. I've been to physical therapy. I felt like a little bit of physical therapy work. Certainly, these are licensed medical professionals. I've been to primary care doctors, and I've gotten all of that kind of rolled into Arasti. What I can tell you is if you're dealing with muscle pain or a joint pain, what they do and how they do it works remarkably well. You can look at the numbers. They polled their patients across the country, and well over 99% of the patients would recommend Arasti to friends and family because not only does it works quickly. So if you're dealing with muscle pain, a strain or a sprain, maybe it's a frozen shoulder, one of those bad ankles, if it's a plantar fasciitis in your feet, tension headaches, everything in there can be helped or fixed with Arasti. They accept most insurances, and here's good news. You never need a referral. There's no wait. If you're in pain, call. And there's a provider close, I promise you. Go to Arasti.com. There's a map of all those providers, and you'll see them added all the time. I bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are now. Bottom line is don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. It's 2025. There's a fix out there. It's called Arasti. Call them today. Let them take care of you. When you're all fixed, come on by, and you can thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic on Monday, April 14th at the Golf Club of Texas is officially sold out. But you can still join us at the Hangar Bar and Grill on Potranco for the ultimate after party. Celebrate with cold drinks, great food, and good times. The
Hi, everybody. Joe Reinagle here for the Golf Club of Texas. I absolutely love the Golf Club of Texas. They've made so many improvements to the golf course, from brand new cart paths to resodding the greens and fairways. You might think it's a private club, but it's not. It's open to the public 7 days a week. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, you know where it is, right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
When it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years and successfully represented thousands of injured Texans. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
I'd like to remind everybody, and my wife knows this, I'm like an old dog chasing a car. All right? I doubt very seriously I can catch you, and if I did, I wouldn't know what the hell to do with you. Nor would any of you guys. You guys.
Done?
Yes.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Morning Huddle.
This ain't the Bee Gees.
I think it actually is.
Took a turn.
Yeah.
Took a dark turn, the Bee Gees did.
The Bee Gees Sons.
I'd like the Bee Gees a lot more if this was them.
No, you wouldn't.
I would. These guys rock out.
You'd love the Bee Gees as they are.
No.
You love high voice, tight pants singing. Come on, admit
Not
it.
for me, man. Not for me. I'm all right with you. Listen, man, you like some weird music. Bee Gees isn't even the weirdest thing you like. So let's get. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. All right. We are now. Today is Thursday. I believe the NFL draft day one is Thursday, right?
Yeah, we're a week away, baby.
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. What's the 23rd, right?
Yeah.
Or 24th.
2 weeks away. Thursday, April 24th will be the draft. So we are now.
And where is it this year?
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
You know, I went to one draft. They had it. I've only been to one. The one that they had in Dallas.
Okay.
Out at the Star. And they're trying to turn it into this
like
giant
pass it
event.
around thing, yeah.
I think the perfect place for the draft are the small market NFL towns.
Why do you think that?
Because of the way that they present it. Because the draft
they did it
feels kind of like
Detroit, and no one cared.
Yeah, in Philadelphia, it was it was huge. It feels kind of like the circus.
Okay.
And when the circus comes to town, I think it gets lost in Dallas. Because there's a lot of circuses in Dallas any given night. But I bet Green Bay is going to be a blast.
It probably will be. I'll be honest. I thought when it came to Vegas a couple years ago, was it last year or a couple years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. I thought they were going to say, we're doing this permanently.
Well, yeah, but the Vegas knows how to put on a party.
Yeah.
But the thing about Vegas is, after going to a Super Bowl there, I like going to towns like Green Bay. Green Bay had never seen anything like this before. I mean, this is something that average Green Bay dude never thought they would see. The NFL coming to town and everybody coming for the draft. They're never going to get a Super Bowl, but they get this. In Vegas, it was just another weekend. You're like, this is crazy. You should have been here for F1. I mean, that's how it was for them.
But for the NFL, is that what's going to make them the most money?
I think so, because for me, I'm the optics of having the draft in Green Bay and the Lombardi tie and all that is sacred and holy about the frozen tundra. I love that idea. I loved it in Kansas City. I think that's where the draft should be. You don't need to have it in L.A. or Dallas or Philly. I mean, even though it was fun in Philly, it's those can you imagine the draft in like Nashville? My God, what a party that would be. So I like the idea of the traveling circus landing in Green Bay, and I would much rather go to the draft in Green Bay over, say, Chicago, just because I know that Green Bay will never forget this and will put on an event the likes of which they're going to never forget too.
Interesting stuff out of the NFL before the NFL draft. I saw yesterday Louis Riddick say that he doesn't believe Shador Sanders, who, by the way, Shador Sanders is now he's once again a hot button guy in this NFL draft. He's a linchpin guy
He
because
is, and I've been on both sides of the fence on this cat, and I'm kind of changing my attitude about it.
Now Shador says, man, and Dion says Shador and Travis Hunter should be drafted 1 and 2.
I'm glad. I want him to say that.
But Louis Riddick said that he believes that Sanders doesn't want to be drafted by any of the 3 teams that currently are sitting in the top 3.
Well, he's no fool.
That is Titans, Browns, and Giants.
You're jumping into a cesspool.
The Giants is a little surprising to me because all the marketing opportunities that comes with playing with the Giants.
Well, I think Dion is very aware
Tommy
that
Cutlets is a star now.
Yeah, I know he'll land and have I think Dion is very aware of how circumstances matter. That just because you get picked number 1, you might not want to be the number 1 pick. You might not want to be the number 3 pick with all the pressure that comes along with being on a terrible football team. So I think that Dion has a unique perspective that, you know what, son, you can land someplace else. Your brand will follow. You don't have to land as the number 1 overall or someplace else for you to be highly successful and make a whole bunch of money, because those are the 2 things that in order for the Sanders kids is 1, play great, 2, get paid to play great. And after that, I don't think they care where they are.
And listen, man, everybody goes into the draft hoping they're going to be drafted as high as possible, but sometimes being drafted to the right spot is what matters.
I want to make an argument for Shador real quick.
Okay.
Because I call him Haircut, but the
Mel Kiper,
the quintessential draft analyst, Mel Kiper, has been on Shador Sanders from the get-go, has called him the best quarterback at the first mock draft to we're at mock 29 or wherever he is now. And he made a passionate defense that I almost buy into. And he's, the defense is, the problem with these young quarterbacks is they land on terrible teams. They're not used to having to deal with the situations they're going to have to deal with because they're in such turmoil all the time. They're always in trouble. They're being chased by defensive linemen. They can't run the offense because, quite frankly, their offense is in trouble far beyond just a quarterback. Line's terrible. Receivers are awful.
Yeah.
Well, Shador had a wide receiver.
Okay.
And that was it.
Yeah.
He didn't have a running game. He didn't have an offensive line. And I'll be damned, for 2 years, this guy took a wide receiver, him and that guy, and won football games. And you want to talk about a guy that was running for his life? Had to find that one star on his team like you would have in New York or Tennessee or you name the bad team? He's been doing it for a couple of years.
He had more than one receiver. That LeJontay Wester was a damn good player. But
but you know what I'm getting at?
Yes.
This guy is uniquely prepared.
He played behind horrific offensive lines.
So if there's going to be a dude that's going to be running around for his life, it might as well be a guy that's had to do it in the past.
There is something to that. But I think about in the last couple of years, the young quarterback who's maybe had the most success over more than 1 year span is Brock Purdy. And had Brock Purdy gone high in the draft, let's say the Jets had drafted him, Brock Purdy would be an afterthought. He'd be gone. But Brock Purdy landed in the right spot. There is some value to landing in the right spot, and usually that value, if you get drafted late, that value comes later. Brock Purdy now is still Vic makes as much money as Brock Purdy right now. But
I'd like to make Vic's money.
That's about to change.
I'd like to.
That's about to change, and Brock Purdy's about to make a butt ton of money from someone. But there is something about being drafted to the right place. And I do think that if Shador were to, let's say Pittsburgh decides we want to move up and take Shador Sanders,
best possible thing for him.
Yeah.
Just go where there's already an established culture and, more importantly, an established idea of what they're going to do on offense, and you know exactly what your expectations are, other than you're all things to all people, as the number 1 overall pick would be. Like, you're going to have to stand tall in the pocket and run, and you're going to have to be able to check out, and you're going to have to be able to drop back. And no, go someplace where the expectations are, this is exactly who we want you to be, and that's exactly who you've been. Just do what you do.
The best thing that can happen to you is you are the unexpected savior. Like having the expectations to be the savior.
As a first-round draft pick, though?
I think you can be, but not as a top 3, top 4 draft pick. But the unexpected savior can come around and you'd be like, I think Josh Allen was kind of that. Like, Josh Allen didn't go in the.
We talked a whole lot about him before the draft.
But he was like the 4th quarterback off the board.
No, you're right.
Like at some point, like if Josh Allen hadn't panned out, you could go, well, I mean, he's the 4th quarterback taken. Like it just didn't work out. Like they.
The quintessential one is the Dak Prescott 4th-round draft pick,
beautiful
just standing around, and suddenly he's thrust into it. Yeah, that's the ideal situation.
Now we get to the point where Dak has been paid multiple times over, and now Cowboy fans like,
but that first year.
But Tony Romo's another one, like the unexpected savior, where the expectations were not great, and you exceed them greatly. That's the guy that people really love.
It kind of sums up that stat that didn't used to exist when I was coming up, and it's the over-expectation stat. The hits over expectation, the win over expectation, the catch over expectation.
The worst is being Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, the high expectation.
Trevor Lawrence, I've seen a lot of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is like probably a top 13, 14 quarterback in the league, which isn't a horrible thing. But the expectation was that Trevor Lawrence was going to be this franchise-changing super player, and he's just not that. So it's not that Trevor Lawrence isn't a good player. It's just the expectation was here, and he's just a good player.
Don't most quarterbacks land there? I mean, Herbert could be the same. Most quarterbacks land, you can make the argument, well, he'd have been far worse if I wasn't here, but you're not so much better that you are. And you're kind of like, well, you're here. Could be worse.
I think Baker Mayfield's another victim of that. Like Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young. Bryce Young doesn't stink. He's just not. He's not a guy that you should have traded your future to go up and get.
Right.
Now there are guys like Trey Lance stinks. That
Will
was
Levis
number 3. Yeah. Well, but he was a 2nd-round pick.
Well, I mean, they went up to get him. It wasn't like they overdrafted for him, and the worst thing to be is an overdrafted quarterback.
Yes. So, I think Shador not. Because Cam Ward, if Cam Ward goes to the Titans, Cam Ward is going to be expected to save that franchise. And I don't know that is a one-man job. I don't know that Cam Ward is good enough, special enough to turn a whole franchise around.
Survive long enough for the rest of the talent to catch up to his.
Now, let me also make the point that if you are capable of doing that, then now suddenly you become loved. And like Jaden Daniels is already beloved.
There is no more. If you are capable, and the unscratched lottery ticket. I
think you and I agree that there doesn't seem to be one of those quarterbacks in this draft.
It just doesn't feel like it. And it could be Quinn Ewers. I mean, the odds of one of the guys in the 4th, 5th round being as successful as the 1st or 2nd round overall are pretty good.
Now, here's what I said months ago. And that's out the window now, is I said I'd rather have Jackson Dart in round 3 than either of these guys in round 1.
Well, Jackson Dart's going to go in the 1st round.
Jackson Dart is now a 1st-round pick. And now me saying I think Jackson Dart's as good as any of these guys, now it's pointless because now there's no value in Jackson Dart anymore.
But someone is going to be a dude.
He might be, but I didn't want to know with a 1st-round pick. I wanted to say, he's a sneaky dude.
The problem is 6 other teams go, that's a sneaky dude. And once 6 teams
That's
do it,
the problem.
Suddenly you're a 1st-round
He
draft
is not
pick.
sneaky
The
anymore.
Worst-kept secret in sports, I think, is Jackson Dart's appeal.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the case. So now I'm going to be back to I would rather have Jalen Milroe in the 3rd round than any of these guys in the 1st round.
And that's good news. That's good news for Cowboy fan. That's good news for a bunch of football teams that there is going to be a Jaden Milroe hanging around there and a Quinn Ewers and a couple other dudes that have just about everything the number 1 picks have but one thing. And so I think that the quarterback draft, there might be a set or two that come out, but it won't be the ones we remember.
Yeah, because I think you're right because I think all of these guys are a lot closer to each other than people realize. and they're all around second, third, fourth round type players.
But haircut almost has me convinced with Shador, man. He almost had me. I was like, you know what? He's right. He's right. He will be running. I might think a first round, number 1 overall would be appropriate for that, but I don't think so in the long run. But short term, it sounded good.
I'm curious if those reports are true that Shador Sanders doesn't really want to play in Cleveland or New York or like I don't know.
Would you?
I think I would take a shot with the Giants, like just because. I mean, the Giants had plenty of patience with Daniel Jones. I think you've got a good offensive minded head coach there, and your star power potential is pretty high there.
I think you said everything that I agree with all of that. I just think that the best thing that could happen to Shador Sanders is that he does fall remarkably far in the draft.
I think so too.
That people don't like whatever it is, and he ends up being the 16, 17, down there where expectations are, I hope it works out, but we're glad you fell into our lap.
Would you rather be 3rd overall to the Giants or 9th overall to the Saints?
I'd rather be 3rd overall to the Giants.
I think I would too, because the Saints, it's another disaster organization, and there you don't have all the opportunities you have in New York.
All that.
So there is like the New York. Cleveland is that's a nightmare scenario for. I know they've got the 2nd pick. I'd say I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to Cleveland if I'm a quarterback, because quarterbacks don't succeed there. And I know that everybody's mindset that is a high-level quarterback like Shador Sanders would be like, I'm going to change that.
No, you don't want to play in Cleveland for a lot of reasons.
I've seen it's the curse. Yeah. There's a curse of Cleveland quarterbacks. None of them are ever going to be good.
You can try, and you might have the best intentions and be the right guy at the right time, but something's going to happen. You're just going to stub your toe. You're right. You just go to Cleveland, and they'll never be a successful quarterback in Cleveland. They'll be good, but never great.
Like what I can picture happening is Cleveland takes a quarterback. He starts to have a little success. He gets hurt right around the time Deshaun Watson's healthy enough to play a little, and then Deshaun Watson comes and has like a great 6 or 7 game stretch, and then now all of a sudden there's like a battle of who should be the quarterback. It's like it's always going to be something. It's never going to be easy to win in Cleveland as a quarterback.
The moment that Deshaun Watson is in the middle of a quarterback controversy in Cleveland, things have gone horribly.
Of course,
bad.
But can you imagine it happening anywhere but Cleveland though?
That you're having to defend Deshaun Watson's play.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh, maybe we got something in Deshaun. Maybe we should re-sign him. And I know there's people out there saying, that's crazy talk, AJ. They would never do that.
You win 8 games?
That's the Cleveland Browns, bro. The Cleveland Browns will do crazier things than you'll ever imagine them doing. Like, whatever you, like, think about they would never do that. They would. They would. All right, well, we'll keep the conversation going on the NFL draft. Morning Huddle on 94.1.
AJ.
Oh, thank you. Well, I got to tell you about Carbach. That's what we're going to be drinking during the draft. Carbach Brewing is Houston-born, but it is all over San Antonio, man. When Eric came in here, he was talking about San Antonio being a priority market. When they first started to ship their beer outside of Houston, Texas, they said, we want it in San Antonio. That's going to be our number one outside of Houston market, and it has been. They have made this place their second home, and it shows. Obviously, it's in all the HEBs and the liquor stores. That's going to be pretty much anywhere in the state of Texas. But here in San Antonio, damn near every bar and restaurant you go into has Carbach either in cans or on tap. It is a staple now in San Antonio. Whether you like the Love Street, that's their best seller. That's the Cole Style Blonde. Or you like an IPA, Hopadillo is the very in-your-face, super hop-forward IPA. They've got a seasonal right now called Hoplectic out, which is a much more balanced, tame version of that IPA. And then they've got the Crawford Bock, Ziegenbach. There's something for everybody in their lineup. So when you're out, you're watching the draft, wherever you're going to be, go ahead and ask your bartender, please make it a Carbach.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we do have a closure on Loop 410 on the frontage road southbound between Marbach to 90, closed with an accident. Now the main lanes are open. Again, this crash on the frontage road. 1604 eastbound Nacogdoches, disabled vehicle that's off to the shoulder. Another stall, I-10 westbound Callahan, right shoulder blocked. Starting to fill in a little bit now along 90 eastbound, 211 to 410. on 35 southbound Schwab Road on down to Pat Booker Road. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/bankingforbusiness.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Every day when we're on the road, people around us endanger themselves and others by looking at their phones while driving. There's the sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender bender-er, the got a ticket-er, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney and have been representing people injured in auto and commercial truck collisions right here in San Antonio, my hometown, since 1994. Getting into a collision can be a life-altering event. Your health and recovery is the only thing that really matters, and anyone that's ever been injured in a traffic collision will tell you that. How do you get the insurance company to pay? Simple. Call me. As your attorney, my job is to get you through this. The decisions you make immediately after a collision are the most important decisions you can make. If you call me as soon as you can after a collision, I will help you make the right decisions for you and your family. Remember, I do not charge for a consultation. Growing up on the southwest side of San Antonio, when Loop 410 was the edge of town, I know how overwhelming it could be to face a giant insurance company all on your own. Just keep it simple. Call me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website at lawyerforus.com.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right. A couple things from the Brigade Bar to address. Mark says, "Don't talk crap about my Saints when y'all are Cowboys fans."
We ain't talking, man.
I'm not a Cowboy fan.
I rolled
first of
into
all,
the Cowboys Stadium last year. That first home game, I did the pregame, the Yingling flight pregame party. I hung out with who was there? It was Haley and Novacek. I was cowboyed up, had my blue and silver on, walked into that stadium, proceeded to watch the Saints kick the living crap out of us. No, due respect to Saint fan, brother. I'll give it all to you. You guys owned that stadium last year.
And then Raymond says, y'all haven't watched enough Cam Ward film. He's a stud. He would be the third best quarterback in last year's draft.
I hope, man.
I don't believe that. I think that having talked to someone who is who does this for a living, Cam Ward wouldn't have been a first-round pick last year, which means he would have been the 7th quarterback
and that's
prospect.
not a bad thing. Doesn't mean he won't make it as a pro.
Yeah.
I hope. And he's
just
individual.
a lot, and he's gotten better from last year. But to go from being a guy that wouldn't have been a first-round pick to now the number 1 overall pick, that's a big jump, man.
Because we've seen guys that have been prepared since birth. That all through their high school years, they were slinging it 40 times a game. They did all the 7-on-7s. They've been coached by the very best. Now, Cam Ward is a savant, but keep in mind, this dude didn't throw a pass his senior year in high school. I mean, he fell into being recruited because he was a tackling dummy at a camp. He wasn't recruited. A coach saw him. So he started behind the curve. He had to learn to be a quarterback, and luckily he fell in with an offensive-minded coach who he followed around for a year or two. But I still think he's got more learning to do. Now, he's way up there, and he can sling it with the best of them, but even those guys that have been prepared since day one, it's still only about a 30% shot. And that's just what the numbers tell us. I mean, 3 and 10 are going to be truly successful.
Yeah, because, I mean, last year there were guys like Caleb Williams. We've known forever he was going to be.
Yes.
Drake May, we knew for a long time. Drake May, like when Drake May came out of high school, they were like, Drake May's a future number 1 overall pick. Now he ends up being the 3rd overall pick, but Drake May can ball. I just don't know.
What was the kid that came out of Liberty a couple years ago?
Malik Willis.
I mean, not that he's Cam Ward, but they do remind me of each other. I mean, they both sling it. They can both move. Physically, they're perfect for the role, but this is PhD level stuff, and these are guys that are working on with a high school level understanding of football just because of where they're coming from. And that's all I'm saying. Doesn't mean he can't get there, but man, that's a lot to ask for a guy that 5 years ago was standing in Robstown thinking, what am I going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a big ask.
Michael says, how does one sign up for the Brigade Bar? Friend, you're signed up. That's it. The Brigade Bar that's the YouTube chat. So welcome in. You're there. An NFL, Shador Sanders, an NFL executive, we were talking about it, where he could end up. Now, of course, it's I always wonder, like when guys say stuff pre-draft, how much of this is real, how much of it is
puffery,
smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Like, what are you trying? What's the goal here? But an NFL personnel man, unnamed, all they'll say is an NFC personnel man.
Okay,
says that Shador Sanders is a quote fringe starter. Now, of the they talked to 6 high-level personnel evaluators. Only 2 considered Sanders a first-round prospect, and 1 compared him to former first-round pick Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, that's fine. I'll take that.
He's a fringe starter who makes good decisions and does some good things, but won't get you over the top.
Well, that's.
I mean that is like.
I mean, you could do worse. I'll just say that, but the comparisons to Teddy Bridgewater, I'm not sure are appropriate.
You don't want Teddy Bridgewater in the third in the top 3 picks. No,
you're right. That's the problem. But I think the comparison isn't apt because I think Shador is a far more mobile quarterback, and I know Bridgewater was a little bit more before he blew his leg like that, and damn near died. But I don't think he's anything like what Shador is.
And Shador's there's a lot to like about his game. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's very accurate. Like, way more.
All those things, I'm about to be convinced for the very reasons that Kuiper gave me, that he might be more ready now than the other guys just because he's had to deal with some things. Now, what his ceiling is, I don't know.
But, yeah, I'm not sure what the ceiling is either. This may be the best of Shador. And the thing that I don't like about Shador is, quite frankly, like I'll tell you when I really started to be down on Shador, when we were watching the Alamo Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And
he kind of half-assed that, though.
He did. Well, that bothered me.
Yeah.
And otherwise, just don't play. He could have been one of the guys who said, I'm not playing. I wouldn't have been mad. But what we saw instead was him kind of half-assing, and we saw him and teammates yelling at each other on the field. Like, it was just. It was not the great last taste in my mouth of Shador Sanders.
True. All of that is absolutely true. You don't show up, and even though you feel like you were forced, and he acted like he was forced, and That was not the kind of impression that you want to leave. Because Caleb Williams, good, bad, or indifferent, I'll never forget him crying on the sidelines after the USC loss. I'll just never forget that.
I
it's
never
almost
forgot
an
it either.
unforgivable sin. And watching in a bowl game, you're a Heisman candidate and a Heisman winner arguing on the sidelines, yelling at each other and an ass kicking.
On the field, even, before they got to the sideline.
So it's kind of like, that's just an unforgivable sin that I'll never get past.
Yeah, so, I can be proven wrong on all these guys, but I have a hard time seeing any of these quarterbacks as like franchise-changing type players. And we've been spoiled recently with C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels and Drake May all looking like they are the real deal.
And there'll be one that comes out. I think we'll have one quarterback in this draft that it's going to be typical, one that's going to be a starter in 5 years, two that are going to be backups, and two that aren't even in the league anymore. I just think that's how it's going to turn out.
Well, I think last year we're going to look back and go, that's a pretty special class.
So far, so good.
Because,
Jaden blows the curve because,
and Bo Nix is great. Mm-hmm. Well, he
certainly showed,
looked good. Drake May looked really good on a team devoid of talent. Devoid of talent. He looked good. Michael Penix has already won the job from Kirk Cousins.
Maybe by default, but I think if you can come out of a draft and have three quarterbacks where you go, these guys are all going to be starters in 5 years. Every one of them looks the part. Unless something horrible happens, that's a rare year.
There's still a lot of people high on Caleb Williams' upside, even though I was never really high up on his upside. But there are still people who think he's going to be a player. And then we haven't even seen J.J. McCarthy yet, and J.J. McCarthy's going to be put into an offense. Like, he's got the best surrounding cast of all of these guys. So
we'll see.
We'll see how it works out.
There's a reason why we do this every year, because we know the failure rate is so high. And it's for different reasons every year, but we know 70% of these guys
That's
are
why you
not going to pan out.
Keep shooting shots because chances are good that it's not going to work out. I will. I'll stand by even after hearing all this about those top two quarterbacks. I'll stand by. I would be the one who waits. I'm good taking a second, third round quarterback.
I'd have one destructive
and skipping out on this year.
I'd have a running back. I'd have a wide receiver. I'd have a left tackle before I drafted a quarterback.
I'm with you, and that's why the team I've seen most associated with Shador Sanders before this week, because now his stock is starting to come up again. But apparently Pittsburgh is very, very high on Shador Sanders. That makes a lot of sense to me because Pittsburgh has a lot of things in place already.
Now, aren't they waiting on Aaron?
They need – well, maybe so. But I wouldn't be shocked if they –
or they're waiting to draft, and then we'll talk to Aaron.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up with both. But I will say, now, Pittsburgh could probably use some wide receiver help. But in general, when you talk about like having things in place, a system in place, there's way worse places to be.
I hope that Aaron would go someplace where they drafted a quarterback. I hope. I don't know.
We need some drama.
I hope that he has turned a corner. That whole Jordan Love thing should have never gone down, and he should never be in the position he is now because of him being an utter jerk. So I'd like to think that maybe he understands his place in the world, that we're going to draft a quarterback even though we're paying you to start.
Well, dude,
get over yourself.
Yeah, well, especially he's 40 now.
I know. You'd think that
at least
it
back
wouldn't
then
matter.
he was like 36, and he was like, hey, what the hell? I still got some gas in the tank.
But it crossed my mind that while the Steelers would be wise to try to get him a quarterback and then maybe Aaron after that, maybe it's Aaron waiting to see if they go get a quarterback, and I'm not going to go there.
It could be. God, what a bum if that's the case. I wish nothing but failure on Aaron Rodgers. I really do.
It crossed my mind yesterday. He still hadn't signed. This whole Final Four and March Madness got into this a week ago. Nothing has happened, which is utterly astounding to me.
Yeah. I'll say this right now, and obviously trades are almost a given now in the NFL draft. But if you look at the teams that are in the thick of things, once you get to New Orleans at 9, I think we could conceive that they would go after a quarterback. Until between 9 and 21, where Pittsburgh picks, I don't see anyone drafting a quarterback.
No.
It's Chicago locked in, San Francisco, they're not drafting a first-round quarterback. No way. Dallas, Miami, Indianapolis, Atlanta, Arizona.
No, it's a cliff. If you don't go in the top 10, you're gone.
Cincy, Seattle, Tampa, Denver. I mean, it is after 9. You're waiting to the 20s,
and
unless somebody jumps up and trades for you.
And then somebody has you on their draft board as best player available by far at 25 or whatever you're falling to. Yeah, you could fall all the way out of there, especially because there's so many questions.
I could see, and even beyond that, I mean, the only team I could see in the first round after Pittsburgh taking a quarterback is the Rams. I could see the Rams saying, "Okay, we got to start thinking post Stafford." But
we say that, but how many times do quarterbacks truly fall?
I mean, there's.
I know it happens.
Well, I mean, we just talked about Aaron Rodgers. He was one of the most famous ones. Remember, they kept showing him in the back?
20 years ago.
Yeah.
And not that I say it hadn't happened, but because quarterbacks are so sought after, they normally don't slide like that, especially when you're looking back at that. Aaron slid back past so many people. I just don't remember guys sitting in the green room as quarterback waiting, and I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that if you have a chance and you're drafting 15th and you had one of these quarterbacks, you had Shador as the 7th best guy on your draft board, and you have an average quarterback, you go, you know what?
They usually do get taken.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But also what we see more and more is some teams will want to jump up into the late first round so they can get like in the Lamar Jackson case.
One more year thing.
And then some teams want to draft you very early in the second round, a la Derek Carr.
So I'm not stuck with you.
Exactly. There's levels to it, man. All right, we'll be back. Halfway point, Morning Huddle.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
With the Spurs out of the postseason, a way to make watching the playoffs more exciting is with Underdog. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. Love playing Underdog, one of the leading sports apps where you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Play the Pick'em game where you go higher or lower on predicted stats like points, assists, rebounds. Create your own entry and have a lot of fun. Download the Underdog app. Sign up now using the promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun with promo code STAR. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona. Present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyer4us.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, a billion-dollar insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyer4us.com.
The best mornings
In the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
When spring is in the air, so are the savings during the Mow Less, Save More sales event at your local Aaron's dealer. We're celebrating the season with $100 off qualifying Icon zero-turn lawnmowers with special financing offers available. The Icon mows quickly, comfortably, and leaves a perfectly cut lawn every time. This spring, clean up with savings of $100 off on Aaron's Icon Zero Turn during the Mow Less, Save More sales event. Restrictions apply. See your local dealer for details.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text KING to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text KING to 321-321. That's KING to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Join us for San Antonio's premier fiesta event, Taste of the Northside, presented by H-E-B, Thursday, May 1st at 6. Experience gourmet food and wine tastings, sip on elevated spirits and cold brews, and enjoy live entertainment at our new location, The Rock at La Cantera. All proceeds benefit Brighton Center, serving children with disabilities and developmental delays in San Antonio. Limited all-inclusive tickets are $300 in advance and can be purchased at tasteofthenorthside.org. Viva Fiesta!
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from Newstalk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are still dealing with this closure on Loop 410 southbound Marbach to 90. Now it's on the frontage road, so main lanes on the freeway are open and getting by. This closure due to an accident on the frontage road, Loop 410 southbound Marbach to 90. I-10 westbound 410 got a stall off to the shoulder, and another 1604 eastbound Nacogdoches, disabled vehicle right shoulder blocked. Now, if you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line. We'll check it out. 210-785-2601. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Spurs broke a 3-game losing streak, beating the Warriors late with a Harrison Barnes 3 to close the game, 114-111. Spurs have 2 games to go. Will play in Phoenix tomorrow night. Big news for the UTSA Roadrunner men's basketball program as transfer portal opened up and offered Austin Nunez and San Antonio's own former 4-star recruit coming from Arizona State and Wagner. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
8:01 on the Morning Huddle. Let's go ahead and give away some tickets. Machine Head playing April 17th. That's a week from today. The Aztec Theater. It's the North American Tour 2025. Machine Head. Let's go with caller number 3. You'll win tickets to that.
Did you have Rory's daughter in your master's pool?
4-year-old Rory's daughter? No, I did not. Unexpected. She's a better putter than I am, which maybe not unexpected, but yeah, it was a nice little tap.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Rob brought up Claymore brought up a bunch of names, saying teams pass on QBs all the time. But here's the difference, Claymore. He brings up Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Rodgers, and Roethlisberger. The difference between Rodgers and those other guys is it's all about where you're expected to be drafted. Like Mahomes didn't go unexpectedly low. There were a lot of people who thought maybe he was going to be a reach for the Chiefs there.
Well, I remember the first time Mahomes was even on the radar for me as a higher pick was the Super Bowl in Houston, the one that New England came back against Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
His agent was taking Mahomes around Radio Row, and Mahomes was hurt. He had surgery on his forearm or his elbow after the season. And Steinberg was trying to puff him up to up his trade value. So he was out in front of all the he made sure of hitting all the affiliates that he thought would be appropriate, and he brought Mahomes by us as a Dallas affiliate. He was trying to puff him up. So Mahomes went about where everybody thought he would. They were trying to raise his draft value. He didn't fall. He actually rose. And Aaron fell. Lamar, there was still, keep in mind the times, Lamar was not thought to be.
Lamar was supposed to be a second-round pick, and everybody was like giving the Ravens grief for making him a first-round pick.
And maybe not even a quarterback. Let's be honest about it. There was still some question that even all the accolades at Louisville, was it going to translate or was he just an athlete? I mean, there was still that, so I'm not going to buy that bit. Most quarterbacks don't fall. They just don't.
The guy, like Brady Quinn, he fell. Brady Quinn, remember, everybody thought Brady Quinn was like a top 5
everybody
pick.
saw him work out, and then we realized that's not going to work out.
Jimmy Clausen. Jimmy Clausen was supposed to be a top 5 pick, and he ended up going in the second round. Dan Marino, remember?
That one was.
Like, everybody thought that Dan Marino was a cokehead, so everybody was scared to draft him.
That's true. I forgot. For those who remember, coming out of Pitt, he threw for 10 miles when he was there, but he was known as a partier, and that he did fall. That's
and there were people who were like, "Well, we'll take Todd Blackledge instead." Whoops.
Well, he just won the national championship.
But it's funny because I like there's you'll find a quote. I want to say maybe it was Don Shula. I think it was Don Shula, and he was saying, "Well, we kind of took a chance with Marino because we thought there was zero chance he would be around when we were drafting. It was like the 28th pick or 27th pick, somewhere late 20s." And he was like, "We never thought we'd have a chance to draft him, so we didn't even work him out. So we had to kind of draft him sight unseen because."
And also back then with Dan Marino, and this is the '83 draft, and that's a legendary class.
Yeah,
so
that's Jim Kelly, John Elway.
Yeah, that's his own story. But back then, you drafted quarterbacks, and maybe they would start their first year. Maybe you didn't draft quarterbacks to start as rookies. And Dan was a unique thing, but it wasn't because it was a situational thing. But most teams didn't draft quarterbacks that started immediately. You drafted them. The other quarterback, they aged in. Their free agency was not a concern. They weren't leaving. You weren't going to lose them after 3 or 4 years. They were going to hang around. So you could take your time and draft appropriately back then. Now you got to fail fast. You got to get them and find out fast because in 3 years you might be drafting them again.
And I still remember Matt Leinart falling. He went to 10, so it wasn't like a massive fall, but there was real conversation the year before. Matt Leinart would have been the first pick, and he stayed in school an extra year.
I get Leinart and Hollywood confused. The Sanchez and Leinart's recruiting and draft process.
Well, Leinart was the same draft class as Vince Young, Reggie Bush,
and Sanchez was with.
He was
Rams.
later. Yeah,
he was with
Sam Bradford year.
Well, he was with. I remember. He came out with the Rams quarterback. Stafford and he were the same year. Sanchez and Stafford. That was the real question.
But there was like, should it be Mario Williams? Should it be Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Vince Young? And he ended up falling all the way to 10. And I guess nobody even considered Jay Cutler was in that draft too. Jay Cutler ended up being the best quarterback in that draft.
Worst guy, best quarterback.
I mean, come on, what's the big deal? He's got likes to smoke some cigarettes.
Terrible taste in women.
Oh, poor guy.
That chick blew him up.
Oh yeah,
damn near killed him.
Oh yeah.
What's her name? Cavallari? Is that who it was?
Yeah, Kristen. Yeah, but yeah. So like quarterbacks drop all the time. But I'm just talking about relative to draft day expectation.
Not falling like CD Lamb did, 15 spots, and everybody's wondering when the hell is he going to go?
Or Dez. You know, Dez Bryant, what the Cowboys get him? The 24th, 25th?
It's not like
he was never supposed to go that late.
The only one in my memory is Aaron Rodgers. Sad Aaron sitting in the green room. But that was a different era. It just the way you drafted was different. They had Brett Favre. There was all this other stuff that made sense that he fell all the way to then, and they were finally like, well, we'll take him now. Shoot.
Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know if outside of Cam Ward, I guess Shador, if he ends up falling to the mid 20s, we'll consider that like a big drop.
Oh, it'll be a big drop. It would be.
There's no other quarterback in this class who we're going to go, oh, I can't believe he didn't go here. I mean,
no.
And the only reason Shador is because at the very beginning of the draft process, there was still a question of who would be number one, Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. That appears to have been settled. Who will be the first quarterback off the board? I don't think there's much discussion about that now.
Unless Tennessee is just flat out the best liars I've ever seen.
But you remember a couple months ago, that was a real debate. Like, who do you like more, Shador or Cam Ward? That it seems like there's a consensus now. It's Cam Ward, but to me that's the only reason why Shador dropping to the 20s would be considered a big drop. I don't think it is. I think if Shador goes in the 20s, that's probably about right.
And I do believe that his dad knows this. Like, the best thing that could happen to him really is to fall, to be underdrafted. Hey, we're happy to have you at 22. Well, man, we couldn't believe our good fortune to have you here. And no expectations other just improve, man, because we're better off just for your presence. That'd be the best thing for any quarterback, quite frankly. And I think Deion knows that.
And I think there is something I would much rather, and maybe you think differently about this. Would you rather be the GM who passes on someone who ends up being great, or would you rather be the GM who takes someone who's supposed to be great and ends up being bad?
Well, I mean, my next question is, who did I get instead if I passed? I would rather, no matter what, I've always, in most things, you don't go broke making a profit. No matter what. It might be a small profit. But I always err on, okay, if I'm unsure, what is the surest thing? Then that I would land. I'd rather be the guy that passed on great and got really good, because you never go broke making a profit. And I'd rather not be the guy that whiffed. I don't want to be the guy that drafted Josh Rosen. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to dare greatly and fail. I want to always make a profit.
Or at least break even.
Well, you don't go broke making a profit.
You don't go broke buying Apple stock. You're going to be okay.
Just make a profit. If you make a profit on every draft pick, you turn in to New England. Everybody there is making a profit. Then you only need to find one separator. You only need to find one thing to make a difference if everybody is even or better. And daring greatly has its place. Daring greatly has, you blunder into Pat Mahomes. You dared greatly and you went and got him, even though you had a quarterback. I get it. But I'd rather be the team that makes a profit on every draft pick. Best player available, least risk. I'd rather be that guy.
Like, I would much rather be the guy who lets greatness pass me by because I believe in something differently, rather than be the guy who's like a lemming who, like, you've got to draft this guy because everyone says you're supposed to draft this guy, and then when he doesn't work out, it's like all of a sudden my fault. Like, everyone thought he was going to be great. He just wasn't.
Everybody falls into that. I get there are busts that for no reason, that they were just flat out busts. And no matter what team, no matter what coach got them, it wasn't going to work. I'm thinking of, what's his name, Ryan, the quarterback that went.
Ryan Leaf.
It wasn't going to work. Leaf had his own demons that no matter where he landed, now it's your job to find those demons. But once you had him, whoever had him, it wasn't going to work. He had to get through his own stuff. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to ever be stuck with that guy. I'd rather just, you could tell me every third draft you're going to make $10 or every draft you're going to make $2. I'll take every draft making $2 profit over and over and over, because eventually I'll be deep enough to win.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. The number one rule of the draft: don't make trades with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's if you don't do that, everybody wins. You know what I mean? Everybody wins.
Well, that really applies most to Buffalo fan. But yeah, I get it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Josh says, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Shador is there when Dallas gets on the clock, Jerry's going to take him. He won't be able to resist. They'll take the card away from Jerry.
To God's ear. No, from your mouth to God's ears.
I wish it would happen, but there's zero chance it happens. God, it would be funny, but no.
And just we want it just a little bit.
I mean, it would be hilarious. I mean, God, what a story it would be.
My dad was a cowboy.
I mean, we show up on Friday morning. If that's all we'd be able to talk about. But no, there's no way. There's just no way.
A man can dream.
They gave too much money. Too much money to old Dak, to old Dakota. So that ain't gonna happen. But it is. God, it would be nice for us, for our job. That would be beautiful. Just won't happen. All right, let's hit a break. Man, the show's flying by today.
Yeah, it
I've already given away these Machine Head tickets, right?
We did Machine Head.
Did we get a winner?
I believe Edwin did.
Okay, Edwin got a winner. All right, we still got some Bullet for My Valentine Trivium tickets we'll give away later on in the show. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A lot of people argue that the best breed of dog is a lineage called the Rescue. They're right. That's why we're asking San Antonio Sports Star listeners to help no-kill rescue agencies around San Antonio with food that these pups need. They're all good dogs. They just need a chance. The voice of the National Dog Show, John O'Hurley, will join the Sports Star guys all day Friday, April 11th for the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry, the Institute for Functional Health, Big State Financial, G-Defy Shoes, Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, Ponderosa Ranch, Mr. W Fireworks, and Fifi and Fido's Pet Boutique. So lend a helping paw during the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, Friday, April 11th, with 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
And it's the second instance of a plane catching fire this week.
J.D. Ryan was a stewardess for Southwest for 5 minutes.
Flight attendant.
And he's an expert on everything aviation.
Now it's time for Plane Talk with Captain J.D. Ryan.
Thank you, Bob. Welcome aboard.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Texas coastal waterfront properties starting at only $49.9?
That's right. Driftwood Acres at Wolf Point, located on the highly sought-after Matagorda Bay, is extending their grand opening for 1 day this Saturday. Book your private tour to see 1 to 3 acre properties, all with bay access, starting at just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. This gated waterfront community features panoramic views, world-class fishing, resort-style pool and cabana, community fishing pier, boat and RV storage, and so much more. It's happening Saturday, April 12th, 1 day only. Coastal waterfront properties starting at an unbelievable $49.9. Just $49.9. Call to book your private tour or for information for this Saturday. 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Appointments are limited, so call now. 210-853-0389. Texas waterfront properties will never be more affordable. 210-853-0389.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. and that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is the first round of the Masters Tournament, the greatest golf tournament there is. I hope none of those livers are on top.
Good Lord. 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. What's the latest we're hearing from Dallas and Houston?
Speaking of Dallas, big game and Big D last night. We'll talk about that.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
How long before, like, it shocks me how some guys are kind of bad guys and they get a reputation as a bad guy. And then some guys are bad guys and it just kind of,
like who?
We skirt around that they're bad guys.
Well, if you do good things.
Tyreek Hill.
Who?
Tyreek Hill.
Oh, is he a bad guy? I think he's a bad.
I think Tyreek Hill's a bad guy, but
I never thought of him as a good
guy. He's a bad good guy.
Everybody acts like Tyreek Hill's a good guy, and then there's always stuff going on with Tyreek Hill that lets you that points that this isn't a good guy.
Now, the last thing. What was the last thing?
Well, the last thing was, remember, he got arrested, like driving, like he got pulled over.
Oh, that's right. We had video of that headed toward a playoff game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the last thing. There was some baby mama
he's
drama.
Had tons of baby mama drama. He's had domestic before, but now another one. Police were called to his home on Monday. No charges filed, but officers responded to a call from Hill's mother-in-law, who told them that Hill was acting very aggressive and impulsive and that she was afraid for her daughter. According to Tyreek's mother-in-law, Hill and his wife, Keita Vaccaro, got into an argument. He threw her laptop on the floor before grabbing their 4-month-old daughter and heading to the balcony of their 35th floor apartment. Vaccaro told responding officers that she and Hill had been attending couples therapy due to their frequent arguments, but that it hadn't worked, adding that she was in the process of filing for divorce. She said Monday's argument began when she told Hill he was not involved enough in their daughter's life. Hill and Vaccaro told officers their argument Monday was not physical, but they did note a visible bruise on Vaccaro's chest. She told officers she probably got the bruise when Hill took their daughter at the beginning of the argument and described it as an accident. Officers said Hill and Vaccaro's daughter was in good health, and they left without issuing any charges or citations. Vaccaro declined to write a statement about the incident, and Hill left the residence roughly 40 minutes after the officers arrived.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like, remember he was investigated for assaulting an employee at like the marina?
Yeah.
And then they settled.
Okay.
And Hill didn't, there was no suspension or anything like that. He is currently a defendant in a civil lawsuit filed by Sophie Hall, who said that Tyreek broke her leg during a visit to her home. Hall claimed that Hill was frustrated by her holding her own during football drills in Hill's backyard and caused a fracture with a physical play. Hill disputes her account, claiming she broke her leg when she tripped over a dog. Now, and remember the cop who arrested Tyreek Hill on the put him in handcuffs when they pulled him over. He got in the verbal altercation and he pulled him over. That cop got put on administrative duties.
Well, I saw that video and that cop was in the wrong.
I'm not saying that one I wasn't even considering.
Was not Tyreek's fault. What do you do? I mean, it's not a right to play professional football. It's not. And it's a duty for the league to police itself if they don't like what he's doing. And obviously, they don't really care. It hadn't gotten to the point of I don't. All I can say is there's a lot of people that you work with day to day that have gone through this very same thing. You just don't know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But once it starts coming out, kind of a lot.
I've seen this so many times. He's not a bad guy, but he gets himself into bad situations is the excuse you're going to continue to hear.
Well, remember when he was in Kansas City, there was like he was accused of hitting his kid, like a 3-year-old or something. Like there never seems to be any charges filed against Tyreek Hill. He just always seems to be on the very, very brink of they could file charges, but this happened, but this is how it can be explained. Like, I don't know.
It's called having good
I'm
lawyers.
just starting to think Tyreek Hill might not be that good of a guy.
I think he's a self-entitled jerk. I think he's a rich dude that thinks rules don't apply. And those guys eventually get got. Eventually, you get got. Normally, it's after you're done playing and you're out of money, you get got. And he'll get got.
Yeah. He had a domestic assault in college, too. I forgot about that. Yeah. So that, and it did, like, his high school or his college girlfriend said it was his I think maybe his first baby mom, or no, she was pregnant with his kid. And he choked her and punched her in the stomach. And I remember, and he went to jail for it. And of course, that's when Gundy was like, "Oh, we don't go for that here. We don't tolerate domestic abuse or violence." And then they had a plea agreement because Hill basically he plead guilty, got probation, and gave a bunch of money, I guess.
And have you seen how fast he is?
He runs
have you
really
noticed
fast.
How well he runs a route.
Yeah. Yep. But that's why he left Oklahoma, or Oklahoma State. I mean,
where did he end up graduating from?
Was West Alabama?
Yeah, some kind of.
I think West Alabama. Yeah, dude. I think there's enough now for me to say I just don't think Tyreek Hill's a good guy. I'm going to stop pretending just because he runs fast that Tyreek Hill's a good guy.
And eventually,
there's enough smoke that there has to be a fire somewhere. And like, I'll give guys benefit of the doubt a lot, but come on, man, there's too much.
Once he's not playing on Sunday, that Monday morning court call. It's really expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of the same thing I was with Deshaun Watson. It's like, okay, this masseuse says this. Okay. Oh, a second one came forward. All right. Now that we're up to 20
in 2 different cities.
Yeah, dude. No, you're just a creep. I said the same thing with Justin Tucker. Now, with Justin Tucker, somehow all these gals got together and decided we're all going to come out at once. But
there's more money that way.
Again, if it's one accusation, okay. I always think back to that kid who he's now punting for Kansas.
The rape allegations?
Matt Ariza. Yeah, the Bills drafted him, and he was like the best punting prospect in 15 years or something like that. They called him the punt god at San Diego State. He really was a weapon, but he got accused of raping a gal at a party, and the Bills cut him, and then
she recanted.
It's like, yeah, I made that whole story up, and guy lost his job over it. Now he's landed on his feet, but it took him a while. But I'm willing to give you the benefit. I'm not going to just believe it. It's tough to balance that line of we're supposed to believe women, but also when it happens with these high profile athletes, there are a lot of gals who will come out and it's a money grab.
Yes.
If we only believe women before we get details, I think we should believe women to the point where there's at least an investigation into these things. Right. But we got to be quick, or we've got to be less quick on we're cutting heads. Like, think about those Duke lacrosse kids. That gal eventually came out and was like, yeah, none of this was true.
The most recent baseball with Trevor
Bauer. Yeah. And he's still, I think he's pitching in Mexico. Can't get a job.
Turned out he was into some weird things.
He's into weird sex stuff isn't illegal.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't want to know this about you. I don't,
Vic's into weird sex stuff. We don't blame him.
You got to have who's going to deal with him on the road?
But I think, once there's more than one or more than two, and now it's starting to be like.
So what's the answer?
Claymore says it best. Sooner or later, he's going to do something he can't get out
That's
of,
what I'm saying.
which is probably what's likely.
He's going to get got.
But then we're going to be like, why didn't we see this coming? Why didn't we stop this before it got to this?
Because have you seen him run?
Because he runs really fast. He runs really fast. And mind you, like, generally, I don't think, Joe Mixon's another example of a guy who's thriving in the NFL. There's literally video of him punching a girl in the face. But the next time something happens, we're going to go, well, yeah, we knew this was coming. There was video evidence of it.
Yeah.
I think we want to be surprised by domestic violence. We want it to come out.
Well,
and
we
shock
want to be
us.
self-righteous and deliver punishment immediately, and that's just not how the world works.
I don't know, man. Like, there is something to with Ray Rice. Everyone was so shocked because there was no red flags to it, but there was video, so we're like, it's got to go. I imagine if we saw the video of what happened in Tyreek Hill's house just the other night, like if he really grabbed his daughter and like locked himself on the balcony, like that's scary.
Yeah, there's two sides to a story.
Right. But are there two sides to like 10 stories?
No,
one guy's always like, I didn't do anything wrong.
But I know that in any situation when we're dealing with the kind of money we're dealing with, and then we're dealing with the kind of drama that we're dealing with, that everybody deals with on a fairly regular basis, the, baby drama, money and all that, it's almost expected. I mean, this is just part of the life that we don't hear 90% of what has happened. You just don't. The population of the NFL is the same as the population, they just have more money.
Yeah.
It's the same people. We all know criminals. Every one of us knows an arch criminal. Every one of us knows somebody that if you turn your head will still, and it's not about economic income strata or skin color. I know dudes that live in the Dominion I wouldn't trust with a dollar bill.
Yeah.
And it's the same people. They got more money.
Yeah.
And they get away with things. People with money get away with things. They can buy the help.
Grinch says Ray Rice didn't get a second chance. Ray Rice didn't get a second chance because he was already kind of on the downslope of his career, and there was video
Film
of it.
Don't lie.
And, like, the idea that you, like...
You dragging your knocked out wife out of an elevator, you're never working again, man. It's not going to happen.
But also, if you don't know what it looks like when a professional athlete punches a woman, like, you should be able to picture that in your mind and be repulsed by it. Right. Yet it really did take the video, because Ray Rice was going to be like cleared.
Yeah,
he was just going to go about his business.
Your word
and until the video came out, and then everyone clutched their pearls and said, "Oh my God, that's what it looks like when a big, strong athlete hits a woman."
Yeah,
that's terrible. How did you not know that? How did you not know that when a professional football player punches a woman, that's the result of it? But it's like, as long as we can't see it, we can go, oh, it probably wasn't that big of a deal. Probably, it's,
out of sight, out of mind.
But then something horrific happens, and then you'll, like, one day we'll be reading the timeline of Tyreek Hill, like all the things that he did, and we're going to go, man, we really should have seen this coming.
Why didn't anybody do anything?
Because this wasn't like a big, this isn't OJ, where, like, everyone thought OJ was the guy in the commercials and like on Naked Gun, and everyone, OJ's the best guy in the world.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, OJ was apparently, there was a lot of stuff going on in the that was hidden from everyone. This is all stuff that we know about.
Yeah.
We know of all these incidents, and we're still like, yeah, but, and then eventually something's going to happen. I'm not saying that he's going to kill someone. I mean, that's crazy, but eventually something's going to happen. Like Claymore said, something's going to happen that he can't get out of. And we're going to be like,
yes.
Well, everybody's videotaping everything now, so the chances are better of getting caught that way.
All of this. Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun. He's a bad guy who has the wherewithal to cover and hide and pay off. And eventually you're not going to have the wherewithal, and you'll get got. The bad guys remain bad guys. In fact, you become more of yourself the longer you live, and eventually we'll get you.
Like, why were we able to effectively run Greg Hardy out of football?
Because we had receipts. We had pictures, we had bruises, we had, and
that's what it takes.
Once you have receipts and proof, like the Ray Rice, and if we had a picture of him standing on a balcony holding his baby and tossing a laptop, he'd be out of football too.
You think?
Yes, he would.
I don't know, man. It's
The allegation is particularly disturbing. She went out of her way to say it wasn't violent, but you're telling me he grabbed your kid and went out on the balcony. That's horrifying.
Yeah, while you guys are arguing, he snatched up your kid and walks out on the balcony.
But it wasn't violent, though, and it was an accident that I'm bruised. Well, then you got the money dynamic. And even though it's not about the money, it is about the money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money at play here, and there's always the detriment of, it's a money grab.
Yep. All right. Let's hit a break. We'll wrap up the third hour of the program. Man, time is flying by. We're having a good time. That must be why. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
I hope you didn't have such a good time the other day you forgot to stay hydrated. Kinetico water softeners have been part of my life for as long as I can remember. We've always had a Kinetico in my home because, heck, I grew up in San Antonio. You need that kind of stuff. Our aquifer is fantastic. Whether your water's coming through city pipes or it's coming up out of a well, the aquifer is giving you what you need. Good lemonade, fine, sweet tea. But I'll tell you what's in that water you don't want in your pipes. It's hard to even fathom what's there until you actually see the outcome. When your pipes are clogged and suddenly you got a flood. When you look at the bottom of your water heater and you see all of that sediment and got to buy a brand new water heater just because your water softener wasn't up to snuff, don't live that life. Kinetico not only takes care of your pipes, takes care of your appliances, all that stuff that gets stuck in those pipes, it's taken care of by your Kinetico. Kineticos don't even plug in. They don't have one of those weird motherboards. They do what water softeners are supposed to do and nothing else. They clear your water when you're using your water. You don't plug it in. It doesn't cycle through. It doesn't need extra salt. It uses exactly the appropriate amount. And because of fewer moving parts, you got fewer problems. I've got a great warranty. I think I've never had to use it. I want that for you. In fact, I want you to have a Kinetico free of charge for the next 90 days, and you can do that too. If you'll dial 656-PURE, P-U-R-E today, Kinetico will come out and put what I'm talking about in your home for 90 days without any ask for commitment at all. You'll find out what I know. And on that 90th day when you decide to buy, and you will, lots to go along with that. There's money in your old water heater. Those parts do matter, even though some of those ain't equal to what you're getting at a Kinetico. There's great financing rates going on right now and a little gift. If you decide to buy right now the reverse osmosis drinking station that I had to buy, you'll get for free. And that's for going ahead and getting the very best water softener for this part of the world. So dial 656-PURE. You need more details? I know I would. Go to KineticoSA.com for all you need. Remember this. Go get yourself a Kinetico. That's what all the finest San Antonians have. Join the cool kids and come on by and thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. As you get into your commute, we do have a couple of trouble spots. Let's start on the southeast side of downtown. On I-10 westbound, right as you approach 37, this wreck is off to the left shoulder. It's still causing about a 5-minute delay. Stop and go from Roland. On Loop 410 northbound to Ingram, right lane blocked with a crash. That's a 12-minute delay. Stop and go from 151. This stall at 281 southbound Tacoma has been moved. Actually, it was a minor accident. Has been moved off of main lane, now off to the right shoulder. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
These days, figuring out what, where, and how to watch TV is out of control. And so is the cost. That's why I'm psyched I found Philo. Live TV from A&E, Discovery, MTV, and all the channels I love. A huge library of movies and shows, and an unlimited DVR to save them. I also get AMC Plus and all their blockbuster hits. All this for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Give it a try, risk-free at philo.tv.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/bankingforbusiness.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts.
The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
Davis Law Firm secures important verdicts and settlements for Texans hurt in a car, truck, or 18-wheeler wreck. Many in the millions of dollars. No case is too big or too small. And remember, there's no fee unless we win. So if you want more, call the Fours. Davis Law Firm San Antonio, 444-4444.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So, what's that about?
So, let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I just went out to my car.
Oh, the cats. They waiting on you?
It's so funny. I see that cat every morning, but I see him in the dark.
Oh, yeah. So he looks okay, right?
In the light, he looks okay. That is a ragamuffin looking cat.
Oh, poor kitty.
That cat is
yeah, he's pretty rough looking.
He is a rough looking dude, man.
He's living his life. He's going where he pleases. He's a wild cat.
He is a wild cat. He's just not very good at fighting, unfortunately.
He's too small.
Yeah. But again, he's Kitty Big Balls for a reason. Like, his balls are so big, he probably thinks he's a tiger.
Yeah, those things are huge, man.
But he's not. He's just a tiny little cat with gigantic balls that is not good at fighting other cats.
That's hungry.
Well, he's found you.
Yeah.
There are cats that have a whole lot worse off.
Oh, no doubt.
A full can of food.
Vic and I keep that cat spoiled. I actually had some salmon the other day.
Oh, okay.
And I kept the skin of the salmon in a little baggie. I brought it to him this morning. Oh my! He probably woofed that up in about 3 seconds. Just
swallowed it.
But yeah, when I see him in the light, I'm like, oh man, that is a rough looking cat.
You're like,
Alley cat.
Never mind.
Yeah. No, I don't care. I mean, it's they always say like, oh, what kind of dog do you have? Oh, he's a labradoodle. He's a mix between a Shar-Pei and And oh, what kind of cat do you have? Oh, I found him in a trash can. That's where all cats come from the dumpster. That's basically it. He said that cat is ragged like Tyreek Hill's future. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
And Claymore brings up a good, there's a reason, like John Morant. John Morant is showing a pattern of things that's like, this is bothersome.
But he don't care.
I do think anything with guns, everybody freaks out. Like that's the thing. But you would think any domestic violence accusation, everyone would freak out. John Morant's just on Instagram with his homeboys showing off guns. Who cares?
Well,
I care about that way
less. There were
less.
some allegations of his group beating up kids outside of a mall. There's some other stuff going on with Ja's group that
I'm not saying Ja's a good guy. I'm just saying, it's funny how, there's a video of Ja riding around in a car with his buddy, and he happens to be holding a gun, which, by the way, was probably not illegal to have a gun in your car. Most states, it's not illegal to have a gun in your car.
No.
Now, is it smart to put it on video on Instagram? No. That shows poor judgment, but we're more enraged about that than we are accusations of domestic disturbance.
It's the criminal, or I use that in quotes, that you know versus the one you don't. I think Ja is trying to prove that he's harder than he is. You know, if you're recording videos of yourself with a gun in a club, ain't no true gangster doing that, because you're expected to have a gun. You know, to do this, I think he's trying to promote a persona that isn't really true. And now that goes one of two ways. One, that's just not him, and he'll never do anything to really get himself in trouble. Or he's going to try so hard, he's going to do something really stupid.
Yeah.
And then there is the known thug. We know this dude, like Greg Hardy. We know this dude's a thug. And now we got proof. I think you view guys different ways. And I'm not afraid for Ja doing anything. I think a lot of this stuff is publicity driven. He likes the pub, the gun at the game. And I can't do the pistol at the game. I'll lob a hand grenade because I'm hard. Well, yeah, I mean, you got a persona you're trying to go with. I get it. You got a brand. It's the dudes that you don't expect that scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
The one that you find out, like, you did what? Oh, no. That guy. Like Alden Smith, when he went off, we had no clue Alden was going to be that, and suddenly he was. Those are the terrifying ones.
Well, that's like I said, OJ.
Yeah, OJ.
No one saw OJ coming. They're
like he's a quiet one.
No, that must have that every old white person in America, every old white woman, not OJ. That must have been some other black man, one of the bad black men.
Oh man, not Nordberg.
No, it's like OJ do it. They'd be like Michael Strahan doing something now.
Exactly.
It's like not Mike.
Did you see the Naked Gun 2 trailer?
I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah, coming up, how they, remember the characters? You had the detective shows a picture of him on the
Drevin.
wall.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it shows his son, and then it comes
No
up with
Nordberg,
OJ.
though?
Yeah, it shows OJ, and then it shows his son, but the son was all like, nah, this ain't no, no. Yeah, but yeah, that's good. You need to check that out. I saw that yesterday.
Well. I will say this. We've been doing this for a long time, you and I both. The number of athletes in the news for negative stuff is down. By the year, it has gone down. There was a time where every day somebody was doing something. So I do think that the age of video.
The Cowboys too.
Well,
right?
I think the age of knowing that everybody around you has a camera. It limits some of the things that dudes would do. I do think that has happened. And guys are caught a lot quicker as well. So I don't think we're dealing with the kind of bad dudes like we used to, say, 15, 20 years ago. I just don't think it's as common.
Well, there's something had to be nipped in the bud at College Station.
Hey, man.
I hate to bring this up.
It's a mindset, brother. It's not. Don't pay attention to the word. It's the attitude.
DJ Hicks, defensive lineman for Texas A&M.
Yikes, brother.
Said that during the interviews, he said the motto for the defensive line room is CBO. And they said, well, what's CBO represent? And he said, choke women out.
D's out.
And he was trying
to be political about it.
I think if you said choke bitches out, it would have been less offensive than not saying it and then saying choke women out. Like, then you made it sound like bitches equals women,
dude,
which is a bad call. And then now you're saying choke them out? Like, what? And that then when you say choke bitches out, you can say, okay,
well,
this is
them kind of bees. You know the kind of bees I'm talking about.
You can say this is it's an attitude thing. We're here to choke. We're choking the life out of this. Like, you could say my opponents are the bitches.
Yeah.
But once you say choke women out, now it's like, that's not. That didn't fix it. That made it way worse.
He was trying though. He just couldn't find the right word.
And now,
at least he knew he was wrong. Like, women.
But that made it wronger. And then Mike Elko came in and was like, what?
Oh, man.
He said, that's conveying something that shouldn't be conveyed. We're going to get that handled and addressed. He said, that's absolutely ridiculous that was stated.
Well, it's a locker room. The funny thing is, he knew it was wrong,
but then
he
made
tried
it worse.
to fix it and made it worse. I don't know. Would it have been worse saying women or females?
Both.
Probably women is worse.
Women is worse. Yeah, but either way, it would have been bad.
I hate it when dudes say females.
You can't.
Don't say that.
You can't change it to like you have to say when I say choke bitches out, I'm talking about the guys across the field from me. Like just hold on to them until the life is drained from them.
Seen those LSU linemen? They're a bunch of bees.
And then it's an attitude thing. But when you say choke women out, that's our motto.
DJ had to call home and talk to his mama.
That's a weird motto for a defensive line room.
I'd have him call home and tell his mother what he said, just like he was in 5th grade.
It's like when Jalen Milroe last year, his motto was lank, L-A-N-K, and they said, "Well, what does that mean?" And he said, "Let a naysayer know."
Naysayer.
Let a naysayer know, huh?
It works.
Let all naysayers know.
Let all of them. They're naysayers.
Sure. All right.
NWA. Naysayers with attitude. You don't listen to that band?
Oh man. How many kids probably lied to their parents about what NWA meant?
Naysayers with attitude.
Yeah.
They're poets.
Norwegians with attitudes, Mom.
They're blacker Norwegians.
Yes, but yes, Mom. There's black people in Norway.
South side of Oslo's rough, baby.
Yeah, what are you, racist, Mom? You don't
been
know
down
that?
To the projects in Oslo.
Nicaraguans with attitudes. Nicaragua is a scary place, Mom. Yeah.
Naysayers, you say.
Naysayers. Choke women. You could have come up with something else with a B, like choke.
What if you said babies?
That would have been bad.
Is that bad too?
Yeah, that's worse.
You got to
choking babies out.
Like you could have even said bastards, and you would have been okay, right? Choking bastards out. Because then it would have felt like it
better
was
than women.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because even if you'd said choking broads out, no, that doesn't work either. That doesn't make it any better. You got to do whatever you can to avoid insinuations of choking a female.
If DJ had said the word broad, we'd had a whole other conversation.
Yeah, you wouldn't have liked that.
Where'd you hit that word?
Do you like it better when
broads?
Do you like it better for a guy to call her a broad or a female?
I think if I was a female,
I
wouldn't mind being called a broad.
I like that
That's
word.
Good. I think a broad's.
I don't ever use
it with a broad.
I don't ever use it, but anytime I see some old timey movie and they say it, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That's good. I'd like to be known as a broad.
Yeah. I don't know what the male version of a broad is, but
a dude.
Yeah,
a dude. The dude abides.
Maybe
it's a broad.
I don't know. But
bitches?
I also, women hate being called bitches. First of all, they don't like that.
No.
And no one thinks it's good to choke bitches out.
Nah.
So you guys got to get it together there in College Station, bro.
It's about an attitude. We won't put it on a shirt unless we win a game. Unless we beat Notre Dame, then it's going to be on everything.
It's going to be everywhere.
CBO will be in the 12th Man Foundation. It's going to be a brand new bunker sticker.
The defensive line is going to have like where Tim Tebow had those Bible verses under his eye.
We just
going to say CBO.
That's all we're doing. Hullabaloo, connect, CBO, baby.
Choking Bevo out.
That's
what he should have said. Choking Bevo out.
There we go. Now we got a shirt.
That's what that guy should have said.
Choking Bevo out.
And they would have been like, "Oh,
this is brilliant."
Now you're setting up the big game, and everybody's getting excited about it. You got to be like, "No,
give him some NIL money."
The best thing he could come up with when asked about, and he had to know he'd be asked about it.
And he thought he got his way out. No, not be women
choking women out. That's worse. Wrong answer. Try again.
Well, not in the real way.
Yeah, and just in like the football way.
The metaphorical way we're choking bitches out.
I meant that in a footballish way.
Yeah, not the real thing.
Like not a real woman, but like, female.
Dog.
Speaking of guys who have not always had the best reputation amongst the ladies, Deshaun Watson, a week after Jimmy Haslam called Deshaun Watson a big swing and miss, Deshaun finally
swing and a miss.
Oh, he finally responded to
How
that.
do you really feel?
He responded to it, and he said, "Everybody's doubting me, And when I come back, I'm going to be way better than before.
Shut up and go away, you bitch.
What? Oh, he said your best performance comes when you're back against the wall.
Or when you're in the baby, what's it called? The happy baby position.
Pose. And he, by the way, he showed a video of him working out in Browns gear. He said, you don't have anything to lose, and I feel like that's where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's doubting me. Everyone don't believe in me. Everyone don't think that I can get back where I was, but I know and I believe the peace that I've been channeling these last couple months, I know I'm going to be way better than before.
Good.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, go back.
He says, I'm prepared. I think before I wasn't prepared because I was kind of going with the flow of how the world was seeing me. But when you kind of get knocked down to the ground and you got to stand back up and walk through the rain, that brings out another fire, another challenge, another grit that you have inside you. My mentality, the things that I got to deal with on the outside, I'm not taking everything personal like I did before.
Good. How do you feel after that you paid off those 26 alleged rape victims?
Alleged
harassment. Was your back against the wall then?
Yeah. Pocketbook was, I had to protect my pocketbook. That was in my back pocket. Yeah. So I had my back against the wall.
I'm doubting him. I'm the first one to say I'm doubting you, Deshaun. Fight, grind every day for me.
Yes.
Grind. I doubt you.
If that's what drives you, good news, Deshaun. We continue to doubt.
You're a massive swing and a miss.
Jeez,
I still can't believe the guy who's still
telling you that.
The guy who's still signing him checks is like, yeah, it was a big swing and a miss. Like he's still there for 2 more years, and you're like, yeah,
I'm in the room.
It's like, yeah, hey, I'm here. I'm still on the team.
Swing and a miss.
Like does Jimmy Haslam not have like the program, like the team program where we can look up and say, oh, number 4 is still on our roster?
We still got him? Oh, okay.
For those of you who have never written a check, there's always on the bottom right-hand side the purpose for the check. Like when you Venmo.
I always imagine it's like
down massive swing and miss.
I imagine like rich dudes writing alimony checks. They always probably have some smug thing to say. I imagine Haslam every time it's like swing and miss, swing and miss.
Baby
whiff.
Pose, huh?
All right, let's hit a break. The 9 o'clock hour is upon us.
The witching hour.
Is that what they call it?
Well, that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah. Well, we're calling it the go home and take a nap hour after this.
Yeah.
I'm fighting through. I
your
don't know.
medication's about
you guys
to wear
can't
off.
tell. I'm deathly ill right now.
He's playing hurt. It's a flu game for him.
I'm a survivor. You know.
He's about to hit a game winner, or at least take it.
Yeah.
He'll get it up. It won't be like Houston. He won't
money.
dribble it off his knee.
That's the
right.
flu game hat.
That's right. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
On your ride to work, it's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
If you've been injured in an accident, you know there's no shortage of attorneys who want your business. But when it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years. We've successfully represented thousands of injured Texans, earning over 12,000 five-star reviews on Google. So, who is the right attorney for you? Just look at the numbers. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Orchard puts cash right into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday one. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday two. Start with your free home valuation at orchard.com or call 1-844-421-SELL. That's 1-844-421-SELL. 1-844-421-SELL.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I was pretty hungry and looking at a menu when I named my boat Change Your Tuna. The backup names were Trick or Trout, I Salmonly Swear, and, oh, it gets worse, New Squid on the Block. It wasn't my best day.
Whatever you call your boat, protect it. And start with a quote from Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
When spring is in the air, so are the savings during the Mow Less, Save More sales event at your local Aaron's dealer. We're celebrating the season with $100 off qualifying Icon zero-turn lawnmowers with special financing offers available. The Icon mows quickly, comfortably, and leaves a perfectly cut lawn every time. This spring, clean up with savings of $100 off on Aaron's Icon zero-turn during the Mow Less, Save More sales event. Restrictions apply. See your local dealer for details.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. As you get into your commute, we do have a couple of trouble spots. Let's start on the southeast side of downtown. On I-10 westbound, right as you approach 37, this wreck is off to the left shoulder. It's still causing about a 5-minute delay. Stop and go from Roland. On Loop 410 northbound Ingram, right lane blocked with a crash. That's a 12-minute delay. Stop and go from 151. This stall at 281 southbound Tacoma has been moved. Actually, it was a minor accident. Has been moved off of main lane, now off to the right shoulder. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Spurs broke a 3-game losing streak, beating the Warriors late with a Harrison Barnes 3 to close the game, 114-111. Spurs have 2 games to go. Will play in Phoenix tomorrow night. Big news for the UTSA Roadrunner men's basketball program as transfer portal opened up and offered Austin Nunez and San Antonio's own former 4-star recruit coming from Arizona State and Wagner. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
9:01 on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We're live from Augusta. Rob and I sitting out here on the golf course. It's a beautiful day. Whisper. Hey, everybody having a good time out there? Shh. You have any sound of like birds chirping and stuff, Vic? So it sounds like we're outside at a golf course.
Nah, I can find something.
Peaceful day. Yeah, give us something like that while I give a leaderboard update.
I'm going to eat a pimento cheese right now.
at the top of the leaderboard right now. Zach Johnson, 2 under par through 4 holes. Someone named Kirk, also 2 under. I'm not familiar with Kirk. Captain Kirk. Viegas, Weir, and Kim. Oh, Willett, Thompson. A lot of guys at 1 under par. Just a whole lot of guys. Perfect. That's perfect. Bernhard Langer.
That's not how I say it.
You bang hard.
Long hard banger.
Long hard banger.
What that is?
Fred Couples, also 1 under par.
Boom, boom.
How about that?
My favorite golfer.
Is he?
Up until Tiger showed up, Boom Boom was the man.
I was telling you that there is a fella who has a parlay that if Bryson DeChambeau wins the Masters, he'll turn a $5 parlay into $135,000. Like he had Scheffler to win gold at the Olympics, Spain to win the Olympic soccer, Ohio State to win the college football national title. What was his other one? He had one more thing, but this is the 5th leg. 5th out of 5 is Bryson DeChambeau to win the Masters. So $5 to win $135,000. He's got 4 legs down, 1 to go.
So I asked you when you told me this. I don't have any faith at all in Bryson getting there. He did, but would somebody buy this from me? Could I sell a percentage of this?
I'm sure you could, and you could make money doing that. Be like, hey, if you want this ticket, I'll sell it to you for $20,000. Somebody would take that.
I would be actively trying to move it right now.
I think what I would do is I would have bet probably $5 to $10K on. I'd probably actually spread out about $20K on the top 10, 12 golfers I thought had a chance to win it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd still be cheering for Bryson, but if one of these other guys wins, I'm still going to make a healthy profit.
Right. So
hedge out that way.
Or you just hang tight, baby. Maybe a miracle will happen.
I mean, did we really think Spain was going to win the Olympic gold in soccer? I couldn't believe it. It blew my mind.
Sure. I was heavy on the Croats, but what do I know?
But I guess when you've got 4 legs of a 5-leg parlay,
the thing is, that's the kind of bet I would have made and forgotten about.
Yeah,
I'd have made that bet and thrown the slip away and thought,
no,
did I bet on Bryson? I don't remember. That was 6 months ago.
I think once you get about 3 legs in, you remember. You're like, oh yeah,
wait a minute.
It's like hidden in your safe, like
I guess. Normally, but we're so far removed from when he laid the bet, It'd have to be 2 or 3 would have to pass, and I'd go, wait a minute.
My problem is when I'm before I moved to Vegas, all my betting was done on an app or online. Okay. So I would have, at the end of the day, I'd see what I won, what I lost. When I was in Vegas, when I would go to Vegas before I lived there, I loved going to the sports book and having a paper slip. Once I lived in Vegas, I just got the apps. I didn't have time to go down to the sports book, so I loaded up the apps and I would do everything on my app. But when I was staying at a hotel or staying at the MGM or Caesars or whatever, I wanted to go down and have that paper slip in my hand. And at the end of the night, I'm like, and probably better off for me to do it in the morning. Like I probably realized I should do this in the morning because I was probably ripping up winning slips. But if I'm drunk. But what I would do, like I'd wake up and I'd be like, all right, did I win? Did I lose? And there is something too, like check the scores. Oh, that's a winner, baby. That's where
don't throw that one away.
Instead of it just being like, ding, you won, or boom, you lost. It's like, oh yeah, you value that paper slip.
Yeah, the thrill of it.
Yeah,
just that thrill of checking.
And if there's a parlay, and you get 4 legs in on a 5-leg parlay, oh, that slip is gold. I'm putting it in the safe in the room under the TV.
A 5-legged parlay. I've never made it to the 4th leg.
Well, and also, mind you, these aren't like 5 even money plays. Like these are all 5. Like you're taking 20 to 1s, 30 to 1s, and rolling them all together.
Yeah.
That's $5 into $135,000. It's got to be some long shots in there. So kudos to that dude for even getting it to this point. But yeah, you got to find a way to make money off it. But I was taught when I lived out there, when I was doing the sports betting stuff and like kind of doing it professionally, that the time to hedge, there's 2 times to hedge. One is if you think that you've got a loser, and that seems to be what you think. Like Bryson, you don't think DeChambeau is going to win.
I don't think he's got it. He might be a top 10, but I don't think he's got it.
So if you don't think it's a winner, then it makes sense to hedge. The other time is if it's life-changing money. And my guess is somebody who's putting $5 down on a wild-ass parlay like this, it's life-changing money. So you got to find a way to at least walk away. If you don't walk away with at least $50,000 off this, you failed miserably, is my opinion. So
how much you think would be a failure? Again, say that again.
If he walks away with less than $50K.
So you think even if Bryson doesn't, you could play the numbers to where you could still walk away with $50K?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know the permutations to that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, now there are risks to doing it like the way you used to do it. Say, hey,
here, just you can have 75% of it with 20,000 today,
or you can have 100% of it for $50K, whatever, and that now that person's taking on the risk. But also, the way I'm saying to do it, the nightmare scenario for you is if like the amateur from Spain that's playing with Scotty Scheffler, if that guy wins the tournament, no one saw it coming, then you're screwed. Although you also have the possibility of like you can wait until the last day and bet enough money on the mat. Like the Masters is not a small handle thing. You can probably get down at different casinos $20,000-$30,000 on Sunday on who's going to win the Masters. So there's still ways to work. You've got to make money off that ticket, though, one way or the other.
You're turning this into a product where arbitrage is because it's more important and more valuable here than less here, so you play the money over here.
And you know what? That works in a lot of markets, too. For instance, something that's going on right now, the odds in the draft, like who's going to be the number 2 pick, who's going to be the number 3 pick. Those odds shift every day, and you can have 3 different guys to be the number 2 overall pick if you got them at the right time and guarantee yourself a profit.
Yeah.
Like there was a time where Shador Sanders was like plus 400 to be the 2nd pick. There's been a time where Abdul Carter was 7-1 to be the number 2 pick. There was a time when Travis Hunter was 8-1 to be the number 2 pick. Now it's almost a lock that one of those 3 guys is going to go number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So if you bought all of those at the right time, you've already locked in a profit no matter who does it. Oh. Now, obviously, you're gonna hope for the one who's got the longest odds, but whoever it is, you're gonna go, oh wow, put some money in my pocket. That's awesome. You can do that in a lot of years. You can do that with the top pick.
Yeah,
because generally, the guy who, when the last college football game is played, and we're like, all right, we're done talking about football, or I guess maybe even at the end of the NFL season, it's time to start talking about draft. Who's going to be the number 1 pick? Chances are good. To me, that is the worst possible time to make a bet on who's going to be the number 1 overall pick, because the guy that everyone thinks is going to be the number 1 overall pick the day the NFL season ends
rarely
is almost never the number 1 pick. Almost never. And this year it was Shador Sanders. Shador Sanders was looked at as the top guy. There's zero chance he's going to go number 1 now. But if you made that bet the day after the season, that's who you bet on, because he was the favorite. So, but if you pick and choose at the right times, like I'm sure Cam Ward, then you probably could have got some decent value on him. Now that value's gone. I know there's been times where you could get value on Abdul Carter going number 1. Now, if Abdul Carter or Cam Ward, if you got those 2 plus money, you're making money no matter what. That's kind of the way you got to look at it. You can't always just be like, who do I think is going to be it? Because that's not the way to really make money in betting sports.
The problem for me would be, I think 50% of general managers are not good at their job.
Yeah.
I think that half of the GMs are Peter Principle guys. They got promoted to the level of their incompetence, and they're there right now. And so I can't, if I'm betting on their ignorance, it's so much more difficult to do, because I don't think half these guys really know what they're going to do until right before they do it.
Yeah.
Like they have a plan, but I think the failures, and half of the teams are failures, throw the plan out the window the moment the first draft is out or the first pick is taken and it doesn't go the way they want. And it's just very hard for me to gamble on that. I'd much prefer to gamble on an 18-year-old taking free throws, which is a terrible thing to say, than I would a general manager who's
Doing the
facing
right
a draft
thing.
pick with 35 seconds in front of them, and they got to do it in their whole life and their job, and the whole franchise depends on their next pick. I'd rather bet on an 18-year-old making a free throw, honestly.
Yeah. But either way, when you've got a bet like that, there's always ways to make some money. I'm curious. If Bryson's in the mix on Sunday, man, this dude is going to be just pumped.
Let's let it happen. For a lot of reasons.
Honestly, and maybe the best thing to do would be, if you're going to do it my way, which is to buy other golfers, maybe it's best to do it after round one, because if Bryson's really in the mix after round one, you can kind of adjust how much you're willing to bet on other guys.
And that ticket you're holding gets that much more valuable.
Yeah. So either way, well, that's something I'm going to be interested in following over the next few days. One random NFL story. You see, Alan Lazard is taking a pay cut to stay with the Jets.
So he's not going to follow Aaron. I guess
Apparently
Aaron
not.
hasn't told him where he's going.
Yeah, he's like, Aaron, stop returning his calls or texts. He's like,
I'm taking you as far as I can, man.
Hey, Big Raj, where are we headed next?
Hey, pal.
And then it's like he sees red.
He's waiting for the little dots to pop up.
Yeah, but he's been left on red, and he's like, hey, man, I don't know if you saw this. And then it's red and just quiet.
Yeah, no
like,
dots, no nothing.
Man, nothing.
No reply.
Then he calls a couple times, leaves a DM on Instagram, sends a Facebook message, and he's like, man, what? Aaron's not getting back to me. And Alan Lazard's wife is like, where's Aaron taking us next, honey? And Alan's like, babe, I don't know. He's not returning my calls. I don't know what's going on.
I think he's in Nicaragua looking frogs. And as soon as he gets back.
His wife is like, well, where are we going to live? And he's like, I don't know. And then she's like, well, you need to make sure you got a job next year. So he says, okay, let me go talk to the
We're
Jets.
going to move into Devontae's room there. And
go talk to the Jets.
Let me see what's going on here with the Jets. And then he goes into the office and says, hey, guys, I know I've got an $11 million salary, but are you guys thinking about keeping me around? And they said, no.
Not at 11.
But if you want to make 2.25, you can stay. And then Alan calls his wife, hey, babe, they're saying 11's a no-go. What about 2.25? Well, did you send it to Aaron? Babe, Aaron still has me on red. He's not returning my text. Wow. Just take the 2.2. Just take it.
Yeah, we sound like that's terrible. The guy's going to make $2.2 million.
I know.
That poor guy.
And he sucks. Like, that's the worst part, is he's not even good.
Making $2.2 million, you're better than me.
Well, you made the right friend.
It's true. And the knock on Aaron.
He's a really good blocker, is what they'll tell you when he can't catch the ball. He's a great blocker.
Aaron always has taken care of his own. He is a ride or die. I mean, you think the Jets wanted to pay Lazard $10 million?
No.
But, I mean, to Aaron's credit, his dudes, he has always taken care of.
Yeah.
If you're in that inner circle.
If you're in his circle.
And I'm not sure I want to be in that circle, but one of the benefits is pay.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. I mean, now Devontae's good enough to fly on his own, but, they're clearly, there's a relationship there. All right, when we come back, we're going to see what's going on in the world outside of sports. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Your morning rush hour definitely filling in. 410 eastbound Fredericksburg. That's some debris in the roadway. We've got the center lane blocked, still causing some delays from Military Drive. So it's going to set you back about 10 minutes or so. 35 southbound, Thousand Oaks, northeast side of town. That's a wreck, right lane, as you stop and go from Tupperwine. 151 westbound, that off-ramp to Westover Hills. That's a stalled. It's blocking the exit ramp. And 35 southbound, Ben Zagelman, accident right lane. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Eosera Pain MD. Did you know wearing earbuds and hearing aids can cause impacted earwax? Eosera Wax Blaster MD can help you blast that wax at home in as little as 15 minutes. Grab Eosera Wax Blaster MD at CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, or eosera.com. That's EOSERA.com.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
My wife, she's 13 years my junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I mean, that's kind of creepy when you put it like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when everybody's adults, 10-year gap's no big deal.
No.
But
Not at
when
all.
you push it back down.
That's funny. Hey, sweetie, remember this? No, I was 2.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Rock's Discount Vitamins and More wants to thank God and San Antonio for making Rock's the king of supplements. Are you losing weight, building muscle, or just getting healthy? Rock's has you covered. Weight loss and muscle building packages starting at just $75. Plus, get a free in-body scan in 15 seconds with the In-Body 270 analysis. Start tracking your results today. The pros at Rock's know their products, how they work, and what's best for your health and fitness goals. Call 210-342-7625 or visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com.
Missions fans, level up your Tuesdays with AARP $2 Tuesdays at Wolf Stadium. Presented by San Antonio Sports Star. Unlock $2 tickets, beer, hot dogs, and more. Don't miss this high score deal. First pitch is 7:05 p.m. Grab your tickets now at samissions.com.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door,
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions, a very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hi, I got hurt in a wreck, but I don't know if it's really worth getting an attorney.
Don't worry, you called the right place.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7, and you don't pay unless we win. We recently secured a jury verdict for $210 million in a wrongful death case. So if you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Morning Huddle 94.1. What are in your mind, like the most famous television houses?
What do you mean, like the Brady Bunch house?
Yeah.
That would be right there.
The Munsters?
Right. When I think of like sets for there is the Friends apartment.
Yeah.
Which,
by the way, they could have never afforded that apartment.
That was a $15,000 a month apartment. The Brady Bunch house, obviously, I can picture the stairs immediately. What's the with the twin girls? What was the one with
Full House?
Full House. I can picture that house.
Yeah. Well, Full House is why I asked that question.
Because it was in San Francisco on the park, right?
Yeah. It's like which, by the way, most of the show and the show is not filmed in that house. You get the outside shot of the house, and that made it famous.
Mm-hmm.
The show is all done on a soundstage.
Have you gone? I've been to that park and looked for the house. I've been there. I forget the name of that Greenbelt, that park in front of them. But
I've walked by it because I spent a day, like my most steps day that I ever got on my Fitbit was walking the streets of San Francisco. I walked like 8 miles in San Francisco one day.
That's like 20 miles here.
And it's all up and down hills. It's crazy. That house, it was once owned by the creator of Full House, Jeff Franklin.
I didn't know that.
And in 2020, he sold it. Last year, the building was put up again on the market, this time for $6.5 million. $6.5 million. Well, now it's sold for under the asking price, $6 million, right? That's a good deal.
A huge break, but yeah.
Apparently, though, the downside to it is actually living in the house. Because
people like me standing in front taking pictures?
Yes. Yeah. Now, I never watched Full House. I was never into it. So I didn't really. I
knew of it. But more importantly, I just knew that was one of the houses when I was there. You know, like, oh, wait, I remember this scene of the Easter egg houses across the street from this park.
In 2017, the house saw 1,000 visitors or more on weekend days, leaving the sidewalks littered with trash and rendering parking next to impossible. Franklin, the owner at the time, had to deal with the neighbors' complaints that the street had become. And imagine living in these houses where it's like $6 million homes and you can't even like live comfortably because.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be some way you could have made money off of it, though. I'd have been selling shirts. You know what I mean? I'd do something. If I'm going to give up traffic and people hanging out all the time, I'm going to make some money off this.
Yeah. But people climb up on the stairs and, you know, it is kind of like the other one, the Sex and the City apartment.
Oh,
like there's a guy who lives in Carrie Bradshaw's apartment is like, he hates people. He's like, get the F out of here.
Yeah. Can you imagine you had no idea?
What about the Amityville Horror House?
Well, that one I would know on sight.
I think you understand when you move into that house what you get.
And I would know it when I saw it. Now, I'm not sure if I moved into Carrie Bradshaw's apartment, I would know until that first night when there's standing around outside. Like, why is everybody here? And she's not in here, by the way.
Yeah, not around. This fella, John C. Todaro, he's 49 years old, Amherst, New York. And he is the vice president and an active member of the Bikers Against Child Abuse Buffalo chapter. He's a guy who he believes that it's wrong to abuse children. And
I'm glad he's taking a stand.
Well, he's not going to be taking that stance anymore. He was arrested for promoting a sexual performance by a child and possessing a sexual performance by a child video. He was found to have child pornography and was disseminating child pornography. He has now been arrested, and he will be up in court in May. It's always the guys who are like, oh, I'm going to start a biker gang.
Thou dost protest too much.
Yeah, come on, dude.
The good news is I know what happens to these guys in jail, in prison.
Yeah.
Karma is coming.
There was an anti-violence protest that was being held, an anti-violence meeting in Memphis.
Was there a fight?
One person was killed, 5 others were injured in a shooting.
They don't know they don't do their meetings very good.
No, they're really bad at this meeting.
At the anti-violence part of the meeting.
Yeah, like don't you guys understand? The Memphis Allies, a community initiative aimed at reducing gun violence in the city. They work to identify and support individuals between 12 and 35 years old who are at the highest risk of involvement in gun violence.
Like giving them guns or just making sure they're
I think they're making
bullets?
sure they're, I don't know, teaching them gun safety.
Oh.
But either way, they weren't able to avoid it themselves. A man in Iowa City was arrested. How about this? This is a 40-year-old Dustin Snyder. This is a strong showing. Blood alcohol content, 0.222.
Well earned.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're about 4 times the legal limit now.
Yeah, that's strong.
Impressive.
But even more impressive was his vehicle of choice.
Tell me he was in some sort of farm implement. Please tell me.
He was in a backhoe.
Yes.
I knew it.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Charged with second offense operating while intoxicated, driving with a suspended license.
A suspended backhoe license? Or just license in general?
Police say Snyder smelled of alcohol, had bloodshot and watery eyes, slurred his speech, and was unable to keep his balance.
I'm digging a hole here.
He has a previous operating while intoxicated conviction in September of 2024. His license was suspended March 4th for failing to pay a fine related to that. He was released from jail, but now he has to go through a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days and complete treatment. He also faces charges of domestic abuse and child endangerment stemming from 3 incidents in North Liberty. This guy's life is pretty hard, apparently.
So did he have his kid in the backhoe with him?
No, but he was charged at one point. Allegedly, he broke into into his home where his wife didn't want him. It doesn't say it in that way, but that's kind of what they're getting at. And he threatened to kill the person inside.
The new husband?
And he pled guilty to those charges as well. So, things not really going great for old Dustin Snyder these days.
I would like to, in the safety of my own property, or anybody's property, give me a case of beer and a backhoe in about 12 hours. I could do some damage.
You can fix it,
No, I don't know if I could fix anything, but I could do some damage. I would love to spend the day on I've never had the opportunity. I've driven a little Bobcat, driven that, but I've never been able to truly mess some stuff up, and that's the term I'm going to stick with.
Yeah.
With a backhoe and a case of beer. Think of what you could accomplish.
FSU. What does FSU mean? Fix stuff up.
Yes, I could FSU
I'm
with
gonna
a
fix
backhoe
stuff
and a
up.
case of beer.
Yeah. In Chelsea, Michigan, a city council member has resigned. He faced some backlash. I can't imagine why. He was in a town hall meeting. A resident was making comments criticizing the city's stance against asking people for their immigration status.
All right.
And this city councilman responded with Heil Hitler. Now, he said it was sarcastic, but
you're not allowed to do. We don't do sarcasm here.
I don't think that works in sarcasm.
Sarcasm and irony doesn't play there at all.
And now he says,
oops.
I accept your decision to censor me as I committed to you in my apology. I do not want to be a distraction to the great work of the council, and I hereby resign my seat effective immediately.
To go hang out with my other Hitler youth.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't even say that as like a joke.
No, that's one thing that's right out.
Particularly when you are an elected official. That's generally the...
Now, you can be an unelected supervisory position.
No, yeah,
you can take over be a billionaire and take over a side thing. And that's different. You're allowed to do that. Especially in Germany. It's almost expected.
Vanessa Guerra, who is 30 years old. She lives in Minnesota. She's now in jail.
In Minnesota?
In Minnesota. She pleaded guilty to a felony charge during an auto theft investigation. They found that this van that was worth $2,000 had been sold for scrap by Guetta. And witnesses at the auto salvage business stated that she had brought the van and sold it to him. And they were like, they during the probe, they were able to locate a journal belonging to Guetta, which contained some incriminating entries. Because it was going to be really hard to pin this on her, I think.
Okay.
Till they saw her journal. And it said, on the same day that the owner of the vehicle discovered his vehicle was missing, she had written in her journal, "Totally stole a car today. Something I never thought of doing. Effing super freaking out about it."
Awesome.
Nice.
When they first asked her, she's like, I don't know. I didn't know that any vehicle was stolen. Police obtained the journal from her mother, with whom Guetta and her boyfriend had once resided. She'd been working as a DoorDash driver. She'd previously been convicted of theft, driving with suspended license, and driving without insurance. She was on probation for the theft case when she got busted for this auto theft. But, yeah, maybe don't write about those types of things in your journal.
Super stoked.
I'm super freaking out about it,
This
man.
is
It's
cool.
crazy. You're not going to believe this.
GTA for real.
And finally, Daniel Sorello, 49-year-old, was arrested. He's intoxicated, and he was at Applebee's. It was fancy like Applebee's. He was unable to provide for his own safety and well-being, stumbling around an Applebee's parking lot in Clearwater, Florida. He tried to enter a vehicle that did not belong to him, and when questioned by deputies, he was unable to answer basic questions, such as, do you know where you are? Do you know where you came from?
What year is it?
Do you know what state you are in? He was arrested for disorderly intoxication. And it was an awkward perp walk because he was wearing a pink thong, a pink wig,
Oh, he's coming home from work.
and fake breasts inside a bikini top.
Was he going or coming home from work? Really the question.
He couldn't remember. He couldn't answer those questions. I'm guessing he didn't give a straight answer when the cop said, "Hey, man, why are you dressed like a stripper?" And there's the mugshot of 49-year-old Daniel Sorello. It's not the guy you want to see walking
that
around.
dude's walking around in a thong?
and a bikini top with fake boobs.
He looks like a police dispatcher. He should be wearing a blue uniform sitting up on a tall desk.
Maybe so.
Looks like a cop.
Yeah, it's not a good. I can't imagine it would have been a good look on him. But if you are going to get super drunk at Applebee's, maybe don't do it in a pink thong and a pink wig. That's going to draw attention. That's going to draw attention. But it is fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Eating good in the neighborhood.
It's a baby back.
Eating good in the neighborhood, baby.
That's a baby back.
Yep. All right. Okay. We're already to the end of the show. When we come back, we'll wrap it up the way we always do by taking a look at the daily lines. We'll give you a Masters update. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic on Monday, April 14th at the Golf Club of Texas is officially sold out. But you can still join us at the Hangar Bar and Grill on Potranco for the ultimate after party. Celebrate with cold drinks, great food, and good times. The Association.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I was pretty hungry and looking at a menu when I named my boat Change Your Tuna. The backup names were Trick or Trout, I Salmonly Swear, and, oh, it gets worse, New Squid on the Block. It wasn't my best day.
Whatever you call your boat, protect it. And start with a quote from Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio where I've practiced for more than 30 years. And San Antonio has really grown since I started practicing law. The risk of injury in a car crash today is greater than it's ever been because every day we're forced to share our roads with 80,000-pound 18-wheelers and some truly dangerous drivers. If you or a family member is injured in a car crash, know this. The insurance companies are mobilized against you. They have highly trained adjusters and a long roster of attorneys with one job: pay as little as possible. Their techniques are extensive, and I believe you have zero chance of obtaining a fair recovery on your own. If you're involved in a car crash, you need to hire an attorney as soon as possible after the collision and before you speak to the insurance company's adjusters. Now, I do not have a comic book nickname. I do not call myself the Law Eagle, the Tiger Lawyer, the Law Chupacabra. I think the practice of law needs to be taken more seriously. If you've been injured, call me, Jason Thompson, for a free consultation. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400, or my website, alawyerforus.com.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
This PGA Tour moment is brought to you by True Green.
After eagling 15 in a final round of the 1986 Masters, Jack Nicklaus realized he could win for the first time. He sat at 16 with a 5-iron in hand and 175 yards to the hole. With a ball in flight, his son caddying for him said, "Be right." Jack responded, "It is," and it landed 3 feet from the hole. Jack made birdie and went on to win his 6th and final Masters.
True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions, a very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
Maybe the Cowboys need to make a trade for Joe Milton.
You really think this is the guy? Like, I can see Jerry and Steven going, yeah, that's the guy. I mean, seriously.
Name me a franchise who you're excited about who the backup quarterback is. I mean,
Baltimore.
So after Cooper Rush gets fired, you decide you like Cooper Rush. I'm with you, but I mean,
it's not that I like Cooper Rush. He was dependable. You knew what you were getting.
Yes.
Cowboys have no clue. If something happens to Dak, you have no idea what's going to happen.
But I know my expectations, whether it be Cooper Rush or Joe Milton or Joe Reinagle, if Dak is hurt, the Cowboys season is essentially over. I mean, he might be able to keep the boat afloat for a little while, but eventually it's going to sink.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
This is Jason Minix from the Blitz, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I had one more story I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
Let's imagine you work at McDonald's.
No.
Okay.
Come
Okay.
on.
All right,
I get $20 an hour?
Yes.
Okay.
25.
25 an hour. All right.
Now, imagine someone goes behind the counter and starts grabbing things.
All right.
What would you do?
It's not my store. I would follow the directorate and my employee manual, which I follow to the letter no matter where I work. And I would allow him to have whatever he wanted because my life is more important than, only thing that's more important than my life is a functioning ice cream machine. And those don't work anyway.
Yeah.
So
Good luck with that.
good luck.
I once worked at a fast food spot.
I've never worked in.
I worked at a Arby's.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Arby's, I had never did what they would call customer facing work at Arby's. I was in charge of the meats.
You were
you were in
slicing
the
the
back.
horse up.
I was a slicer. Yeah. I did work at a Baskin Robbins where I did do. That was my very first job, was customer facing ice cream salesman. Which, by the way, my right forearm developed into like just this massive
Popeye forearm. Dig
my
it into
left
the sherbet.
And like I got every joke you
stranger
could
went
get.
weird. Yeah, well.
So this McDonald's, a 17-year-old girl jumped the counter because she wanted ranch dressing.
Okay.
And they
At
weren't
McDonald's?
at McDonald's.
Okay.
And they weren't getting it to her fast enough. Can you imagine, like, if someone ordered McNuggets, dipping them in ranch? Would you ever pick ranch for your nugget sauce?
Nah, I'd go with honey barbecue or something else.
I pick hot mustard. Hot mustard is
even that.
That's the best. I think the best condiment.
I just don't eat the nuggets.
I think that's a good call too. But this gal decided she wasn't being helped fast enough. This is in Florida, mind you. So she jumped the counter, started to get some ranch, and 31-year-old McDonald's employee Akina Simpson
Gonna have none of it.
Grabbed her by the arm.
Mm-hmm.
Said, "Hey, kid, you ain't stealing our you can wait in line like everybody else. But you don't jump the counter and just start stealing ranch packets." And when she tried to break free, Sampson grabbed her by the neck and took her to the ground. Now,
she just assaulted that girl.
That's the world that we live in now.
Mm-hmm.
Sampson has now been charged with child abuse and had to post a $2,500 bond. A judge has ordered her not to have any contact with the victim, which I'm sure she doesn't really want to, and to stay away from the, quote, area of offense, which is her job. So
different McDonald's?
She is going to lose her job and be facing jail time
over ranch dressing
because she stopped a gal from stealing ranch dressing.
I'll beat her to the ground.
Well, she held her on the ground until the authorities arrived.
Beat her to the ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just using lawyer words. Yeah, that's why they tell you, just don't get involved. You know, it's not worth it. We're talking about give her the ranch. Back off. It's not your home. You're not defending anything that you own. Give them the burger. Give them the money. It's not yours. Let them go, because this is what happens. You fight back. Suddenly, I'm sued, you're sued, and you're out of a job.
But now it's the Wild West if we start letting that happen.
No, it's not. You let them go. It's not yours. It's not your problem. You are just showing up for work. I appreciate that you love McDonald's so much you feel you need to protect the ranch packets. Don't.
I don't know.
Nah.
That's the principle of it to me.
Yeah, me
Well, see,
too.
that therein lies the rub.
Yeah,
What principle?
my wife's got into it to a couple customers.
Yeah.
Before, yeah.
And I guarantee you
Yeah.
that every corporate policy is let them go.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Oh, no. When they throw the first punch, it's over. That's it. My
Well-
wife didn't take it. She's all like,
Well,
all
then
right,
once
get
you're
out of
assaulted,
here.
you're allowed to protect yourself.
Yeah.
But if
That's
it-
what happened to both times. Yeah, she was lucky that happened, but
It's their
she held
job to
herself.
make it impossible to be robbed from, not
Right.
you to not give them the money.
All right. Well, I don't know. I believe I would have whooped her ass too.
Well, I mean,
All
some people
over
need their
ranch.
ass whooping, and sometimes it's worth the money. But don't do it on if you have any expectation of continuing your employment or getting a gold star from your boss. No, they're going to fire you.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap up the show the way we always do, Vic. Let's take a look at the daily lines.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Let's give a quick
Little rundown here. I'm trying to see who I've got daily fantasy going.
quick look at the scoreboard up in Augusta. Aaron Ray leads the field right now, 3 under par through 7. He is a Brit. It's spelled R-A-I. I don't like that. Chris Kirk, Steven Yeager, and Joaquin Neiman are all 2 under par. Everybody else is either at 1 under par even, or they're pretty much out of the tournament at this point. Imagine being through 12 holes on your first day and you're 5 under or 5 over par. That's Patton Kizzire.
Well, at least you know you're doing something on Saturday other than playing golf.
Yeah, you don't got it. You can make your plans. You can go ahead and make your
I'll be on
plans.
Friday night, baby.
You ain't gonna be around, Bubba. You ain't gonna be around. Phil Mickelson so far through 3 holes, he's even par. Colin Morikawa even par. Will Zalatoris even par.
WZ?
Yes, and Zach Johnson 1 under. So everybody else getting going a little bit later today. Oh, Scotty. Scotty's even through 1 as well. Scotty Scheffler.
Personally, I need Sepp Straka to shoot under a 70.
He's the last guy teeing off today. Very last guy.
I need Xander Schauffele, the X-Man, to shoot under 71.
Okay.
Or a 71. I can do that. I need him under 71 and a half. And I need Brian Harmon to carry on that heat.
Okay.
And hit 10 greens in regulation.
Okay. Well, good luck to you.
I am.
How about the Detroit Pistons hosting the New York Knicks?
I like the Pistons because the Knicks aren't in New York, and the Pistons actually kind of might have something to be warm for.
Minus 3.5.
Yeah, I kind of like the Pistons.
I kind of like the Pistons too. This falls in. I think the Pistons have a pulse.
Mm-hmm.
The Cleveland Cavaliers. This is the time of year where you don't have to say, I wonder if they're sitting their players or not. Just read the line.
Yeah.
Cleveland at Indiana. Cleveland plus 9.5.
No Mitchell, no Mobley, no Jackson, no Shepard for.
This is a rest day for the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I still think the Cavaliers cover 9.5.
Oh, they're going to beat them, yeah.
I don't know if they win, but they don't lose by 10 points.
Yeah,
I
they're going to beat them.
I don't think so. How about this one? The Hawks are at the Nets. Hawks minus 13.5. The Hawks have lost 7 of their last 10 games, and they're a 13.5-point favorite.
I don't like this. No Trae Young tonight. Game time decision, Achilles. They're probably going to.
You'd have to arrest him against the Nets. Give me the Nets plus damn near 2 touchdowns.
I think I kind of like the Nets in this one.
Speaking of 2 touchdowns, the New Orleans Pelicans plus 14 at Milwaukee. I don't like that one.
See who's sitting tonight. No Zion, of course. Giannis's game time with illness, and of course, Dame's out with a calf.
Yeah. God. They make it tempting.
Yeah, don't touch this one.
I think I'm just staying away from that. And Minnesota's at the Grizzlies. Minnesota minus 2 on the road.
Who's their new coach? Who's coaching them now?
I don't know who's coaching Memphis now.
Let's see. Tonight we got no Clark. And, he's out for the season, and that's really all that matters.
Let's see. Coaching change. Who is coaching this team? Who is the new head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies? Tuomas.
That's it.
I don't know how to say this. Isalo?
I think that's how you say it.
Tuomas Isalo. I've got no idea how to say it, but yeah, I'll the head coach bounce yesterday? Did we get it?
They got it. They beat Sacramento.
Did they?
They did.
Damn, I knew it. I should have bet on that. Should have bet on that. What a loser I am. Major League Baseball. Oh, you know what? We're going to do hockey first because yesterday, if you recall, there was a team that was a minus 350 favorite in hockey, and I said, well, of course, who are they playing? And you said that sounds like a game there would be sharks involved with. Well, the Minnesota Wild won that game in overtime, 8-7. 8-7. And this is I don't know that I've ever seen this before. Maybe it's happened before. I don't know of it. There were multiple players that had hat tricks in this game.
Multiple hat tricks. Now, don't you have to bring like a squid? Or throw that on the what team does that?
That's in Detroit.
In Detroit. It's a lot of fish.
Macklin Celebrini had his first career hat trick. He was the number 1 overall pick last year. He's like the new Heat, but they still suck even with Macklin Celebrini. He scored 3 goals, had 2 assists, and then on the Minnesota Wild, Joel Eriksson had 4 goals in the game. And they needed all 4 of them as the Wild get an 8-7 win. 15 goals in the game between the Wild and the Sharks. Pretty out there. All right. Tonight in Detroit, if you do think a hat trick is going to happen, the Red Wings are plus 170 at Florida. Minus 205 are the Panthers. The Blackhawks are at the Boston Bruins. God, these teams suck. Bruins minus 185. I wouldn't bet the Bruins with your money. Also wouldn't bet the Sabres with your money. They're plus 120 at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets minus 140. Washington Capitals are plus 124 at home against the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't know if Ovi's going to sit out for a little while, if they're resting him or what. That's a weird number for the Caps to be home underdogs against anybody is a little weird. Yeah. So I'm guessing you might want to check your lineups on that one. The Rangers are at the Islanders. Islanders minus 125. The Winnipeg Jets are in Dallas. Dallas minus 125. The Vancouver Canucks plus 195 in Colorado. Colorado minus 240 on the other side of that. Nashville Predators are in Utah against the Hockey Club. Utah a minus 205 favorite. The Kraken are in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. VGK minus 250. And the Ducks are at the LA Kings. The Kings minus 345 against the lowly Quackers. In Major League Baseball, the White Sox. Did you see how the White Sox lost yesterday?
Was it a walk-off? I didn't see
it. They were going to tie the game. So last at bat, and the ball got to home plate. The guy's running. He rounded third. The ball got to home plate. I don't know, probably 10 feet before the runner. It was just such a poor. The guy just stopped and fell to his knees. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe we just lost.
But as we're talking comebacks, the Spurs had the biggest comeback of the season last year as far as the biggest win by an underdog. 17-point underdog. Biggest in the last several years for the Spurs, but the biggest in the NBA last night.
Nice.
The biggest underdog to win.
Didn't get to all the baseball lines, but no Rangers or Astros today. Blitz coming up at 2. They'll probably do a decent show. I'm better than yesterday, I'm sure. Check it out.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
Big cash giveaway, yeah. $250,000, yes. The next 10 months, GimmeTheVin.com is giving back. Everyone that sells us their car gets put in the drawing, and monthly we're pulling out $25,000 and giving it to you. So, not only are we the top of the market buyer, but you got a chance to win $25,000. That's what we mean by big cash giveaway. GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call us America's best car buyer for nothing.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Spring is here, and in South Texas, that means storms, wind, rain, and hail. If you've been hit by a storm or think you have damage, now is the time to contact Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210